All right, welcome everybody to another edition of Worcester Council Theater 3000. I'm Bryan O'Donnell. I'm here with Bill Shaner. Bill, how we doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm very happy to be back in my cozy office room and not at the city council getting punished in person. Tonight's meeting did not warrant that sort of in-person treatment, I guess you'd say.
No,
Um,
certainly not. Especially after last week was such a horrendous bummer.
yeah,
So
last week was tough. Our council is genocide supporting city council.
yep,
You love to see it.
yeah, we love to see the cowards be cowardly. It's fun and cool to us.
Yeah, very nice. Very, very cool. Yeah, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
what
So on the
what do we
agenda
got
tonight, not
tonight?
not a crazy one. I don't know if you've looked deeply at it. The biggest one that jumped out to me, obviously, we posted about it in our stories because of Rob Bellato's post. Um, there's an order from Benny Blanco. Thanks for
Oh,
resubbing,
thank you.
Ben White. We love you, bud. There's an order from Candy Merrill Carlson and George Russell about shifting the responsibility for sidewalks back to Public Works from the newly created in 2022 Department of Mobility.
Oh yeah, I kind of I forgot about that one. That one's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's a direct fuck you to accessibility in the city because as we've talked to Rob about many times, and much of his career has been centered around the idea of how inaccessible this city is, and in creating that new department, it kind of was a fix, or at least a improvement on that idea, that the way that they were um, taking care of sidewalks and uh, the streets in the city had more to do with um, what was needed for accessibility purposes. We had take that into more account than the old way that was done, and now for some reason they're deciding they don't want to do that anymore, which I don't really I can't really I can't really fathom that the purpose for that. So
Yeah, I don't
um
know.
I guess we'll see what the deal is with that. And yeah, I'm my feed is a little jumpy, but I did take off the background, and we'll see if that fixes it. I'll drop out here in a minute once we get to talking a little bit more. But Bill, was there anything else on the agenda or anything else going on in the city this week that you wanted to talk about or think
Yeah,
it bears talking about tonight?
tough week for manholes. Rest in peace.
We lose? Did we lose Bill? We lost Bill for a moment. You're still in there, Bill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It looked like I was gone. And this new streaming service we're using is not the
not
best.
great.
Not the
No, we're
best.
we're still it's a work in progress. Big
Uh,
time.
I tried to use the desktop versions today. Whoo boy, that
Yeah.
thing sucks. Um, so anyway, um, there's two orders on from Joe Petty, who attacking Christian King and to Union directly, which didn't get acted on. They were on the agenda last meeting, but nothing got acted on them. So those are on today. One of them is 11A. no, sorry, 14A, about in-person in-meeting decorum, and then 14B is about attending meetings via Zoom. Both of them are going nowhere, but are going to municipal operations, which is controlled by Mo Bergman now. And Mo Bergman is the cattiest, pettiest person on the city council, typically. What else do we have? Oh, yeah. Christian King on civilian review boards. Kate Toomey with her New Orleans terrorist attack follow.
Right.
Which ought to be great. I was just watching the economic development subcommittee, and Kate Toomey started speaking on the wrong agenda item at one point, which was awesome. Candy Merrill Carlson, also at economic development, said that Worcester is historically the first to try new things and adopt new things, which is hilarious. No real fireworks of note on that. Oh yeah, and David Webb complained that he's the only yurt owner in the city, and
Cool.
that there should be more yurts. So David Webb has a yurt. So yeah.
Let's bring the meeting up now.
Council Russell? Yes. Council
And
Toomey?
then
And Mayor Petty?
they still have to act
Yes.
on the order from the police union on the DOJ report.
Orders, motion
That's
to
still on
adopt
the agenda,
approve the
so,
minutes, December 20, 2024.
We'll see what they do about that. But
Council Bergman?
yeah, this is just a hodgepodge
Colorio?
of stuff that would have been
Councilor
acted on
G.I.?
in the past two
Councilor King?
meetings.
Yes.
If
Councilor
Joe
Carlson?
Petty didn't
Councilor
sabotage
Yes.
Council Ada?
3 months of council
Council
business by
Patillo?
trying to hold up
Council
the
Russell?
Gaza.
Yes. Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
What a
Yes.
cool time we had last week.
Participation, a person may speak
Yeah.
for no more than 2
Yeah,
minutes
that
on
was
the
really,
on the
really
agenda.
something.
Does your name, see your residence and item number?
Me and Chris are doing a podcast now. We had
Thank you.
Ali
Fred
Sislo
Nathan,
from
Worcester.
Worcester Havura on
Yes.
the show
Start
to
off with
give a
N.
an actually cogent
Don't
take
usually
about
agree
what
with David
happened as
Webb,
opposed
but
to
I kind of
what,
like the idea of having subtitles.
what the mayor
That way
has
there's
been
never
saying
any question
afterwards.
if somebody said
yeah.
something, if a counselor said
Because it's
something,
like
if a
when they're
private
talking about
citizen
wanting to
said
get back to
something,
business, like this is the stuff that they're
and
getting
if-
back to,
and if
like
that can
spending
always be
3
looked up,
hours a week doing
going
pretty much nothing.
forward, that
Right.
is a
You
great
know,
idea.
the city council
I
takes
kinda
2,
like
maybe
that.
3 votes a year that are of any significance.
8P. Obviously,
We're back to
people
the
would
Fred
like to
Nathan
speak up
show.
here for an hour.
We do
and
love the
people
Fred
would
Nathan
if you
show
let
so
them.
much.
How's my audio sounding? I
I
got this pop
suggested,
filter on.
and you
Pop,
didn't
pop,
exactly say no to it.
Sounds good to
Mr. Mayor.
me. Let us know in the
Right
chat
where
how it sounds to
sit,
you guys.
Right in the front there, they have a digital clock, and it will say, "Okay, you've been talking for a minute. Oh, you've been talking for a minute and a
Pop
half.
filter.
You've been talking for 2 minutes." People will know, so they don't have
What-
to
are
look at
we-
the clock.
Are we deciding this
on
is
their
a city
cell
council
phone.
fit? I
That's-
don't know.
I
think we
like,
kinda have to.
yeah.
I
I
support it
the best
partially,
part
but
of
I know you're
the
never going to
night
let people speak
for
for
me
5 minutes.
last
so
meeting
we wanna
was
go
I caught an elevator ride with
This is very true.
Fred Nathan
This is very true.
while on the stream. Got his very prescient takes on who benches the most on the city council. He said that Christian King does, which is probably a good
Every
answer.
now and then there's stuff with
Yeah, I still think it's
CXX.
Ojeda, but I'm not gonna kill you for answering
Still
King.
owes the city
Yeah.
certain little things that they promised in order to get what the city gave them. So go after CXX.
Yeah, I mean, I think a gold medallion would go better with this quarter zip, but
13G and 13.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that at some point, Main South. Ray
don't
Mariano's
get
column
People
about the
want
Gaza thing.
lights in a dog park.
When Ray Mariano
Not
to the
everybody
left of your city
has
council
the
decision,
ability
you
to
are
take their dog
far
in
gone.
a dog park
You know what I
at
mean?
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wild.
People might work 10:30
absolutely wild.
at
wrap-
night.
can you wrap
or-
up your comments?
Or 11 o'clock at night. Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
Trevor,
you
that was
just-
your
You
projection
wanna
on the
take your
ceiling? That's a
dog
pretty
out for a
cool
walk.
little device you
So,
got
It
there.
would be nice if they had lights here.
It said
so they don't have to
ceasefire
walk
now. It
around
was
and
projected
get
on
a
the ceiling,
flashlight.
much like a Batman symbol would be. Pretty cool.
Does your name, see your residence and item number?
My name is Oliver Chadwick. I'm a Worcester
Could you,
resident.
Trebler,
I'd like
could
to,
you project
propose
if we
item
get you the
14C.
Worcester Council Theater 3000 logo, could you project that on the ceiling?
So currently, the responsibility for resurfacing exists with DTM, and the item would propose to move it to DPW. I strongly think it should remain with DTM, and really, it's a matter of kind of, I guess, fiscal.
Man, don't get it
urgency
twisted.
in
I'm
my
not
mind,
praising
because
Ray
if there's an
Mariano
opportunity for
for anything.
If there's a situation where DTM
No,
thinks
it's just
the street does
shocking
need to be
that,
improved or fixed,
again,
it
it's the
totally
same
makes
thing with
sense to
Fred
do
last
that
week during his public
during
comment.
like while you're
You're
resurfacing,
shocked
as
when a
opposed to
guy like that
resurfacing
makes a
and then
good
ripping it
point,
up,
or at least
a
like
month later
semi-cogent
when
point.
DTM wants
Yeah.
to redesign it. So I think it makes total sense for that responsibility to stay with DTM. Now, obviously, DTM should work closely with DPW. They should clearly work together
Oliver's
with
cool.
these things. But
Yeah.
I do think the
Oliver was at economic development.
responsibility
Candy
should stay
weirdly
with
had like
DTM.
all of the
Thank you
ADU
very much.
items
Thank you.
on economic development.
What's your name,
So
city of residence, and item number?
obviously Oliver caught
Good
that, but a
evening.
bunch of people
My
came to
name's
speak
Paul Poppenchuk.
to just be
I
like,
live at
kind of
44
like
Midland
why,
Street in Worcester.
but they ended up just filing
I'm
everything
speaking
because
on
they have to
agenda
come into
item
compliance
19,
with
a report
state
to the
regulations.
Committee on Veterans,
Right.
Memorials, Parks,
Because,
and
you know, as Candy
Recreation.
said, they're
It's
so far
recommended
out
adoption
ahead
of the Urban Forest
of
Master
everyone
Plan.
that they
This
have to
plan has also been endorsed by the
redo their
Worcester Advisory
ADU
Council.
ordinance to make it in
The
compliance.
City of Worcester
with
has
regulations.
finalized development of the master plan, which will serve as a roadmap to proactively manage and grow the city's urban canopy. It also provides a shared vision of the future of the urban forest to help us and help inspire us to plant, care, and protect our trees. Urban forests are critical to the city's air and water quality, storm management, energy conservation, biodiversity, and overall health and well-being of our residents, especially those living in marginalized communities. They do this by providing essential environmental, economic, and social benefits, including sequestration of carbon from the atmosphere. According to the Nature
Sequestration.
Conservancy, heat
That's a,
waves kill more
$10
people
word right there.
worldwide than any other weather-related
Sequest.
event, and cities are particularly vulnerable to these events. A heat risk assessment conducted in 2022 provides initial baseline data on Worcester's tree canopy. This assessment indicates that approximately 37% of the city's land is covered by tree canopy. A tree equity scoring tool, however, was used to analyze the distribution of this canopy, and it determined that overall trees, for the most part, are evenly distributed citywide, except in the core downtown area.
What up, Camber?
And in certain communities containing our underserved and most vulnerable populations. The master plan aims to guide efforts to more equitably extend the urban forest to all citizens. The plan contains specific recommendations for follow-up activities to optimize the potential of our forests, including establishing proactive
I love the
management
urban forestry
programs
master
Can you wrap
plan.
up your comments?
It's like
for public tree
What's the
planting and
plan?
care that goes beyond
Just letting the
current
trees grow?
customer service models.
the trees got it covered, you know?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm sure that it's really good work, and thank you everyone who has probably mostly volunteers, and they're doing great stuff.
Right.
Just goofing.
Thank you.
There needs to be additional funding.
But I mean,
for
the trees
these
got it.
efforts and oversight.
I
If
mean,
we're
but
in
the
a
trees
designation
kinda
as a
like,
tree
they-
city and a
they
green
don't need
city,
our help,
Please
really.
do the right thing. Adopt the urban forest master plan. The future is in our hands.
Fianna Jatan Singh, 37 County Street, Worcester, Massachusetts. I support everything the last person just said, and also I want to speak on item 14C. It doesn't make sense to remove the responsibilities of the Department of Transportation and Mobility.
Fianna attacking George
That
Russell.
department was set up so that there would be equitable looking at roads and sidewalks for the ADA compliant streets. So it makes sense to give them, to let them keep the responsibilities that their department is over. It does not make sense to move that back to Public Works where they already don't care about fixing sidewalks that are already in disrepair. Thank you.
My name is Silas Sanderson. I'm actually from Auburn, but I'm speaking for a number
get outta here,
of
then.
folks that I know personally.
Sorry. Sorry, my friend.
I
You
was
need to
here
go.
on Tuesday, January 7th, to speak about and to raise concerns about the reinstatement of Francis for Paso. This is item 12A on your list, and we were concerned about the serious allegations and evidence of misconduct by him, and we're urging you to not reinstate him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
You wanna do
that's
yours? We'll get to the
the
petitions in a
constable
few minutes.
appointment. Some people spoke about that.
Good evening, Grace Ross,
Last
10
meeting.
Oxford Street.
Apparently he's a
Worcester.
real jerk.
Also on
Right.
item 12A. We've been putting together a report, the Worcester Anti-Foreclosure Team, for the counselors. It is already, I don't know, about 18 pages long. It covers incidents going back to
Kick his ass.
2016. I apologize that we don't have more people here to present. 3 of our 4 volunteer staff, 1 in the hospital, 2 other are very sick. We're not able to present to you what we would like to at this time. I would like to offer to all the city councilors not only the report, but video evidence, documentary evidence from the registries of deeds and the courts that we can put on a thumb drive or email to you. It's extensive. It includes at least 16 examples of 48-hour eviction notices wherein he put on them that they would be CC'd to the court, presumably to convince people that these are court-viewed documents and therefore legitimate. He has never turned any of those in. He's legally required to turn in a return of execution for each eviction attempt and to turn in the ones that don't get satisfied. To our knowledge, he has never turned in an unsatisfied return of execution. He has perjured himself in bankruptcy court, lying that he had an active execution. They're only allowed to be 90 days long. He did it after the 90th day. He couldn't possibly have had a legal execution at that point, but he somehow engaged with others in tampering with the execution to make it last 120 days. But he perjured himself in bankruptcy court. We have the audio tape. We would be happy to share it with you. He also signed a document that is recorded in the Registry of Deeds, swearing that he saw somebody unopposed step on property to do what's called foreclosure by entry. We have videotape. We have sworn affidavits showing that the person was opposed. Trapasso was there. He swore under oath in a document and then recorded it at the Registry of Deeds, recording
Can you
his
wrap up your
perjury.
comments?
He has
Can I? Yes. Will I?
hired somebody
Fuck
who
no.
molested a young woman. We have the videotape. She's screaming, "Get your hands off my breasts," and he is standing next to this person who he hired, who is molesting
Okay,
her,
can you wrap up,
and
please?
allows it to continue.
Thank you.
The
Can you
list
wrap up?
is long. This man cannot possibly meet the
Thank you.
good character requirements. We're not asking you to act as a judge and jury. We're asking you to fulfill your obligation.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Whoa, they're cutting mics.
Thank you. Okay.
That's a development. That's an interesting development. They're cutting mics now.
What's
Huh.
your name, city residence?
Hi, I'm Priscilla Chung. I'm a resident of Worcester. I'd like to speak against 14C, as others have already.
If you're gonna do that, cut it
It's
right
just an
at 2 minutes.
example
Bill, they
of, I
cut
think,
they cut the
a
mic
step towards
on
the wrong
Grace.
directions towards
What?
government inefficiency.
Yeah.
When we're looking for a
Do
vision
it
of
do it
Worcester, we wanna
immediately at
look
2 minutes
for,
then. Just across the board.
the future, right? We want to progress. If we're creating these silos between different departments, and
Wow.
communicating
Why
with each
why
other,
all these
are
unannounced changes?
changes
That's
that we want to
crazy.
impact everything, and to
That's
sort of assume
keep
that
trying
sidewalks are
to
not a part of transportation, are not a part of
say
mobility,
this. I
is
keep
already just a closed
trying to
idea and makes
explain
it so
that
being a pedestrian is
that's the bigger issue.
So I'd like to
Is
to
that every
continue
week
with
the rules are different
responsibilities as
and
it
no
is.
one knows what they are
I'd
until
also
they
like to
get
support,
fucking
14F.
clotheslined
Thank you
by 'em.
for the
And that's like
efforts
Joe
we're
Petty's
trying to
one
make to,
job.
Address
yes.
some of the issues of urban heat by requesting that there be a cool pocket location instead, and also support 14G and 14H. Thank you for the continued accountability.
Just do a count. Like
because
they
we all
have,
want
they
our police to
literally,
do better
it's already
for
installed.
the community.
They have a countdown clock.
And so as we continue to
Just-
do work,
It's in
I
the
just
worst
support
place.
more government efficiency,
Like,
and more
right,
accountability.
but-
It's up in the back of the gallery, but
Right.
like just use
But
it.
but like again, put in a, you have the ability to have one, and they're not that
135 Lake Street.
expensive.
On behalf of the Greater Worcester Land Trust, I'm speaking on item 11.
We have one. They can borrow ours. Woot Nanny has a countdown clock.
Plus, the city like owns the DCU center. You telling me they don't have some leftovers? You know, like a buzzer.
Right. Yeah, give me the substitution buzzer.
Oh my God! It's like it's that loud, but in the city council chamber.
To the Conservation Commission, I apologize. It ends up being on a wildlife corridor. The railroad tracks serve as a wildlife corridor to Holden.
Like,
it has
does
wetlands in the southeast corner.
Joe
It's across
just
from the
want
Roosevelt
to
Oak
reserve the
Conservation
right
area. The site is difficult
to allow
develop in
people
terms
to
of
speak
frontage
as
and
long as he
access.
wants them to? Because
Also, the Indian Lake watershed is
I would
highly
forfeit
stressed,
that
which has
immediately.
resulted
He
in
just looks like a
number of
dickhead
closures over
every
the last
time.
number of years. So any
Right.
opportunity to preserve natural soil to sort of take in rainwater and
He's
sort
a
of
fucking
have that go
idiot.
through a natural process would definitely be the benefit of Indian Lake. And finally, there's also a wildlife corridor of sorts that links Shore Park to the Bancroft School to Indian Hill Road. And while it is not suitable for people, wildlife love to use it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, wildlife like me. Oh,
What's your name, say your residence, and item number?
My name is Zach Leonard.
Ooh, werewolves of Worcester.
I'm speaking on item 14C.
that's a
I
parody
believe
song
that
we should do.
Streets are meant for
Yeah, we
more than
really
just
should.
cars. I think that the city has adopted many initiatives that will make streets more welcoming and accessible for all people. I'm hopeful that the Department of Transportation and Mobility can implement those positive changes on our streets. All we need to do is avoid taking away power from them. So
Anybody
it's
see
not
the
in their
article
hands.
in
That's all. Thank you.
Worcester Magazine about the various waterway-based urban myths in Worcester? One of them being the sea serpent in Indian Lake.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
I'm trying to meet the resident now.
Pretty cool.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Yes, we
I'll
can.
grab it right now.
Hey, to Karen Valentine Goins, resident of Worcester, and I'm here about item 14C to oppose the item. The resurfacing program, which includes street resurfacing as well as sidewalk repair, is an example of a successful partnership between two city departments, DTM and DPW. And since the partnership started in 2022, the program has shifted
Also, a
to
detail
include
in here
making
that
safety
Bell
and
Pond used to be
accessibility
called
improvements
Bladder
as streets are
Pond.
resurfaced and sidewalks are repaired.
Which
And
is
these include traffic
unfortunate.
calming, crosswalk improvements, sidewalk improvements, smaller scale improvements, not just larger sections, and accessibility improvements like curb ramps. And this incremental approach represents a fiscally sound and efficient way to use available funds to meet stated goals of the city, which in turn are based on public input and professional expertise.
Strange creature with wings and horrid bloodshot eyes.
Responsibility
They
back
talk
to
about
one
Joe Damn
department
Petty.
and return to an era where streets
Yeah.
and sidewalks are renewed with no
Roasted his
attention
ass.
to improving
Fucking roasted
safety.
his ass right
So I
there.
ask that you file this item.
Thank you. Next.
Mayor, the next speaker is Jacob Seidel. I'm trying to meet the resident now.
Does its stunts in the daylight on
My name is
surface of
Jacob
Indian
Seidel. I'm a
Lake.
Worcester resident, and I'm here to speak against item
Not anymore. There's a
14C,
speed limit.
which would change jurisdiction over sidewalks. This item would inhibit the ability of the Department of Transportation and Mobility to meaningfully redesign and improve our public ways. My understanding is that DTM was created to take a holistic approach to bringing our transportation system up to modern standards, and in order to do that, they need a broad purview and minimal barriers to take advantage of every opportunity to improve our public ways, such as necessary resurfacing and repairs. If you imagine that they're going through a redesign project and every time they look at a sidewalk, they have to get permission from DPW, that could become a problem. Splitting jurisdictions this way is a huge stumbling block for bureaucratic systems. For instance, DTM is responsible for getting our sidewalks and crossings ADA compliant. So what will
Yeah, it's
happen if
crazy
the
how-
people with the professional expertise to
right
do
they were
that
to
have
do
to go
that,
begging another
how
department
quickly.
for permission every time they need to alter a sidewalk or are not even allowed to do so? Are you going to reassign that task to people without ADA training or retrain someone at DPW? It's just a step backwards that
You
would
know,
be bad for
Gio,
Worcester.
I would
If there's
take
overlap in
one
duties and
guess as how
jurisdictions
the
that are
car
causing issues, then go
on
the
the
other
bottom
way
of Bell Pond
and
got
facilitate
there.
cooperation between DPW and DTM.
Sea serpent.
We need flexibility,
Sea
connections,
serpent,
and
obviously.
cooperation so that municipal
Did its
employees can
tricks.
solve problems.
The
Please
Bell
don't
Pond
create
urban
barriers,
legend
don't smother
apparently
them
is
with minutia,
that,
and don't stick them in tightly defined
there's a
silos.
vortex or
Please vote against
something.
item
I have heard that
14C.
there's like
Thank you.
there's a whirlpool down at the bottom.
Mayor, the next speaker is
Yes.
Evelyn.
That goes to
The resident now.
that goes to I assume the King Kong Kingdom from the new movies.
Right, the upside down world.
Yeah, yeah.
Evelyn, can you hear us?
Yeah, and then after that, China.
Can you hear me now?
China.
Yes, please state your name, city of residence, and the item you're
The upside down
speaking
world
on.
from the King Kong
Yes,
franchise
my
is
name is Evelyn
very
Hurwitz.
sick.
I'm a resident
Yeah,
of District
fucking rocks, dude.
41.
That's
And I'm speaking to item 19A.
I enjoyed that a lot.
In favor of
And
the
well,
city
I don't
council
can't remember which
adopting the
movie
new
it was.
urban
I have like
forest master
they're
plan.
all
Godzilla
the
versus
same.
Kong.
It's
Yeah,
been
it was Godzilla
well
versus Kong.
thought out,
And then
carefully vetted. with
I
a
haven't
lot of
watched the New Kingdom yet.
feedback from the public and
I don't
provides
think I
a
have
very
either.
essential
Kong,
roadmap
the New Kingdom.
for stewarding and growing our urban forests, which is essential for the sustainability
When I was a kid,
and
they used to
resilience
talk
of the city
about
of
on
Worcester
Coe's
in this
Pond
era of climate
that there was
change,
a
and it will enable us
horse-drawn
to
carriage and
remediate
team
heat islands
that
in
broke
our
through the
city,
ice
among many
and
other
is
things.
sunk on the
We'll
bottom of
also
it.
provide a basis
Whoa.
for grants,
Yeah.
which are going to
pretty
be
sick.
essential to
Yeah.
help in this effort. As was mentioned earlier, it was
In 10 miles, take exit 94 to merge onto Route
Well,
146
hey, listen, no
toward
public
Worcester.
comment while you're driving, please.
can
That
you
is
still
Mo
hear me?
Bergman's purview only.
It's essential for grants that will enable this to occur. And as was mentioned earlier, it was endorsed by the Green Worcester Advisory Committee. And while I'm speaking to you in my capacity as a private citizen, I am also vice chair of that committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the next speaker is Grace Elton. I'm going to try to meet the resident now.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Grace Elton, I am a Worcester resident of District 5, but I'm also the CEO of New England Botanic Garden, and I'm calling in support
Did you crack
of
that baby
19A, the Urban Forestry Master Plan. I personally support this plan as a citizen, but also the
New England
garden
Botanic
fully
Garden
supports
is
this plan.
the coolest.
It was developed using a very inclusive process in which the garden was an advisor. And I believe that it really provides a comprehensive plan to improve our urban forest to benefit all citizens for generations. Adopting this plan will enable the city of Worcester's
love to
urban
go up there
forestry
and
practices to be in line
look at
with
holiday
the best
lights.
practices in the industry, but also it gives us an opportunity to be a model
the
for other
Christmas spirit?
cities. You'll see the garden's
You
name
know,
listed on many of the
any type of holiday, I don't give a shit.
educating both the public and,
Just
urban forestry
Give me them
professionals.
lights, baby.
And I wanted to ensure you that the garden's fully committed to helping the city achieve this plan in
me a
any ways
s'mores.
needed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the next speaker is Rob Bellata. I'm trying to meet the resident now.
Here we go.
Please state your name and city of residence and the item you're speaking on.
Hi, Robert Bellata, Worcester resident in District 2. Just calling in support of 10A, 11C, 13A, 14I, excuse me, it's great. 17J, it'd be great to get more street lighting around Worcester Tech for the students. Also calling in opposition to 14C. I think the partnership between the DTM and the DPW has really been positive overall. I mean, with them working together now, sidewalks and streets are not just getting resurfaced, but it's they're able to take a look at how to more effectively implementing design changes, creating safer streets. It's also more efficient financially, making sure that when a street or sidewalk is done over, things are done correctly and the new safety improvements are put in. So I think if it's about which department is in charge of permitting or which
wait, who is this?
which department is in charge of
It's
work?
gotta
I
be
think
Mo.
that's something that, the administration could hammer out.
Gotta be
instead of
Mo.
Trying to abandon this partnership. This partnership has vastly improved how roads and sidewalks in Worcester are redesigned and maintained, and it's also really made a vast improvement in how we evaluate sidewalk and street accessibility. Like the ADA transition plan is something that's been a decade in the making, and now DTM is finally able to take a look at and really take a hard look and evaluate where sidewalk accessibility is lacking and how we can improve that. So it just makes sense to continue this partnership. This is something that the community supports. This is going to lead to safer streets and sidewalks in our neighborhoods. So I just wanted to encourage City Council to vote to file. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person.
Oh yeah, that's got Donna written all over it.
The resident now. Jenna, can you hear us?
What's the next?
Okay. Not hearing from Jen, I'm going to move on to the last speaker, Eric Stratton.
Thank you. I'm calling to oppose 14C and recommend that the council file this. I was really shocked to see this order from Councillor Mayor Carlson and Councillor Russell, especially given the fact that both of them push aspects of public safety, pedestrian safety, quality of life, and improvements to our city in their campaign materials. This seems to fly in the face of that. As others have said, this partnership between
Just had
the
another
Department of
death in
Transportation
Kennedy's
and
district.
Mobility and Department of Public Works, I think, has overall benefited our city. It has made our sidewalks better. It has made this project planning process significantly better. I live off of a street in Worcester where they redid our sidewalks just a year or so ago, and they are significantly improved. I have older parents, I have older in-laws, and I have young children. And it
But
is
Eric, do you have
significantly easier
red
now
brick
to
sidewalks?
walk with all of them
Because
on these sidewalks, which
that's
is
the case.
much safer for all of them.
Don't fuck 'em away, pal.
I strongly urge the city council to file this. This is easily just a step backwards, and there's no reason to be removing these much better processes to go back to the inefficient way that things were being done before. Please do not take this step backwards. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, I think we have one more calling user, Natalie Gibson. Try to meet the resident now.
Hi, I am going to be in favor of, hang on one second, so sorry.
Oh, the tension.
8M through 8P, 11A through C, opposed to 12A.
It's so funny when people do this because they're not paying attention.
There's a bunch of them, sorry.
Yeah.
They're not paying attention to what you're
13J
saying.
through
It's
not affecting anything.
It's a trend.
And I'm actually
that,
wondering why we're doing this. I think other people said that too, but I almost feel like when you're doing a petition, you should state why you want something taken away or added. So it would be helpful to know why we're doing this. So I'm just, I guess, in the middle of the road.
Frank
with that.
Trapasso's
If
website
it
is
a detriment
pretty ghoulish.
to the citizens, then I oppose
it has
it.
all the
If
property
it helps in
auctions
a
for
way
tax
for
liens
DTM
on
to
it.
do other things, but they're still helping DPW
Says,
this,
do
then
not miss
great,
this
but
one.
yeah, that needs more
Deposit
explanation.
$5,000 cash and you
Let's
can
see,
take somebody's house.
14G
Jesus
and
Christ.
14H
Fucking
I am in
nightmare.
favor
Here,
of.
I'll put the link in.
14J through.
It is still, that's one of the craziest things
14L
that
in
is allowed to
favor of.
happen in Massachusetts.
14N I'm in favor
Like if you
of.
fall behind on your tax bill for 1
17M
year,
Yeah.
I'm in
like
favor
they
of, as
can
well as 18G.
literally auction off all of your equity
18L, 18M
for
in
like
favor of.
a few $1,000s.
For way
S
more
in
than your
favor of.
tax bill is. Yeah.
Yeah.
19A. And that's where I stopped. Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have petitions. First one, 8A, refer to the Department of Public Works. 8B and C, if anybody's here on these, just raise your hand. We'll refer those to Public Works. 8D to 8I.
We'll know who it is when we get the final
for
direction.
Traffic and parking.
Like when it's like,
And
turn right
8J and
into
8K, so the hearing for January 21st, 2025.
Hurricane Betty's.
We take those calls. Roll call.
Turn left into
Councilor Bergman.
Centerfold.
Councilor Ajay.
Yes.
Councilor King.
Yes.
Councilor Carlson. Councilor Nguyen.
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda.
Yes.
Councilor Pasillo.
Yes.
Councilor Russell.
Yes.
Councilor Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Bill, are you still, are you
So we have
strong
four items.
repping right now?
Web,
Being a
filing
former
two
kitchen
open
worker?
meeting law complaint form.
Oh, big time. I have.
City
This is
Council
the
President
most
Council
effective way to
report
drink a drink.
concerning the
I even got
commonality
my
of the
my
police
cutout here
interactions of being recorded
of the
due
lid
to
to put the
body
straw in.
cameras being docked due to GPS.
I got
or other
Katie doing
technical
it.
issues. City Council requesting
It's-
manager
it's
to
the
provide
House-
City
the
Council
House
report
official policy
concerning
for
plan
waters.
provide, subtitles at City Council meetings.
People want to talk shit about the bear all the
And
time.
City
As soon as
Council
they did that,
requesting
I was
manager
like,
provide council the
these
report
motherfuckers get it.
outlining analytic
Yeah.
intelligence software.
They had a
that is available
consultant.
to
I mean,
shorten the
Matty
amount of time
Matheson,
required
exactly.
as a producer,
footage created
that's
from
like one of the
body
better
cameras.
consultants you could possibly
Issue
have.
city residents.
That guy earned it.
Yeah, he knows all the dirtbag kitchen tricks.
Regarding 14C,
Yeah.
Let the DTM do its job. I personally have issues getting my district
Go
representative,
to
council, or member
plug
president
of
to,
a certain
address
sort
sidewalk
for a
accessibility
long
issues
time
bottom of
in
Raptors
the
Street.
heavy music
So the
scene
people who
in
brought this
whatever
petition
city he
forward
was
have real
living
estate interests,
in.
but I'm sick of
Oh, yeah?
touting how long
Yep.
they've been empowered
Hell
with
yeah.
qualifications. They have experts, less
That
listening.
tracks completely.
I'm here in support of AP, extending
Little
from
fun
2 minutes
fact.
to 5. The chair keeps having to cut people off in the middle of important testimony. There's no way I could ever be able to address dog parks, intersection of Hamilton and Fairmont, the purpose of the safety committee, problematic constables, problematic zoning board members, snowplow contracts, trash bins. Don't get me started on how this is too little
Back in
too
1 sec.
late. Overdue underpass lighting. It shouldn't have to sound like I'm singing an Animaniacs mnemonic to address everything on the agenda. I don't know why we're questioning anyone's remote attendance when some people sit here and say nothing. Regarding 8L, my open meeting law complaints. One of these is regarding the meeting where our city clerks, despite advice from our former city solicitor, welcome Alexandra Pilkunis, didn't allow a petition to stop the killing. The first petitioner here was to speak on item 9M regarding the competency of the law department, and they clearly stated that. However, the minutes from that meeting state that they spoke in favor of an item not on the agenda. My complaint seeks to address that lie and seeks to correct the minutes and narrative to reflect that the chair silenced everyone there that night. Almost everyone. The second complaint is because City Hall seems to lock after maybe 10 p.m. while these meetings often go on to 11 or midnight. Please also leave the third floor bathrooms open. As I understand it, every future violation might submit the city to a $1,000 fine for open meeting law. 8M, the responding officers, when I was attacked right here, did not have body-worn cameras, and I later discovered through public records that this was a GPS-related technical issue, and their cameras were docked due to communication from the police, initiated by the police union. So I'm wondering if this is a common issue, and if not, when the other times it has happened or so. 8O, last week, the chair of our Public Safety Committee brought forward a petition with similar language to expedite the process of using school bus cameras to identify infractions and increase accountability for drivers. I propose we do the same thing with our police officers, as well as reducing the cost of accessing body-worn camera footage through public records, which is often in the realm of hundreds of dollars, because reviewing footage takes 3 times as long as the actual footage is. 8N, my petition to add subtitles to city meetings. I have auditory processing issues and sometimes struggle to understand things said by people in this room. This will also help streamline adding in transcription, which I requested of this body August 27th, 2024. 12A, the constable appointments. This council needs to see the police footage of some of these horrible evictions done by improperly licensed constables. I know the city uses a process server who uses Trapasso envelopes, presumably employed by Trapasso, so they need this appointment to go through to maintain their current business model. But you should still listen to the Worcester anti-foreclosure team. The city manager has said his signature means nothing, but we need these people to be accountable to someone, and otherwise they are not. It's a wild statement within itself, but this body right here is the final straw between civil enforcers of law.
John Piccolo had to be the Worcester DA can't take John Piccolo's case because he's given Joe Early too much money. That was in the Telegram the other day. He's made like $1,400 in campaign contributions to Joe Early.
So is it a venue change, or are they like having a?
No, they just have to have some other ADA from some other district has to drive down.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda?
That's really
Councilor
funny.
Solo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Councilor Russell?
Yeah, I have that flagged for the next post.
Mayor
That's
Petty.
just
Yes.
that's just
James
fucking
Clark
sick.
requested Council Rule 39, the rules.
It is
Council
crazy,
extend the amount of time permitted individuals to speak
like
during the public
how
participation portion
much
from
of
2
an
minutes to 5
insider that
minutes.
guy like kind of
James
is,
Clark, Mr. Mayor.
and
Yeah.
the fact that an insider like that would do something like that.
Motion.
Dude, it's so
I would-
insane
I'd-
to do
I'd
that
suggest
exact
a
thing.
motion to send that.
It's so
Right.
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Council Bergen?
one of the most unique attacks like I've ever seen.
Just like, hey, I don't want to get away with this at
Loria?
all. So
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda? Yes. Councilor Basillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell? Yes. Councilor Toomey? Yes. Mayor Petty.
Yes. Okay, refer to the Municipal Operations Committee, Transfer Information, annual
I
conference.
mean,
Are you gonna hold
I
that?
think I'm invincible.
Is this the one you're going
but-
to
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to hold.
I'm still not doing
9A,
spray paint
Councilor
attacks
King
against
on
my
the
enemies.
privilege.
I'm making Twitch shows about them.
10A to 10P, motion to advertise the proposed ordinances. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio, Council Agia,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen,
Yes.
Council Ojeda, Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell.
Oh, that's really cool
Council
to
Toomey,
learn, I guess. Camber.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. 11A, petition of John Keogh, request the council request the clerk read the exact wording of Rule 16, regulation the chair for the purposes of expression, whether the chairperson wants to respond to the city council who is speaking.
That means you,
Send
Joe.
that to MO. Okay. Is John here? No. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio, Council Agia,
That's what the no
King.
money is
Yes.
for.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen,
Yes.
Council Ojeda, Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yeah, John Krieger requests the city council, the city manager requests the solicitor provide council with a report concerning the purpose and scope of the Standing Committee of Public Safety. And send that to the law department.
Problem is, he knows he's a coward,
Roll call.
thanks to Chris. So I would imagine I would be pretty destroyed too.
Yes.
Council Calorio, Council Agia,
Dude, Chris said
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Pooped your
Council
pants.
Nguyen,
Yes.
Council Ojeda, Council Pasillo,
Some of
Council
our
Russell,
Chris is
Council
like, you
Toomey,
pooped your pants, Mo.
Yes, Michael Brandon requests the council requests the
Which
manager to provide city council
is
report regarding real
such a
estate
funny
tax
thing to yell at
exemption for
somebody.
seniors update
That's
or restructure
wild.
to
I wish I
the
heard that.
public
That's
It was right.
so
It was.
wild.
I just remembered it right now. It was right after he spoke and did that sort of mealy mouth. He drew like a mealy mouth distinction between his resolution and the Gaza resolution, which was just totally fake. And Chris just yelled out, "You pooped your pants, Mo."
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen,
Yes.
Council Ojeda,
Man.
Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey, and Mayor Petty.
Yes. Okay, petition of Patrick Gray requests to transfer 23 Indian Hill Road, currently held in tax title to custodianship of the Worcester Conservation Commission. So send that to the Conservation Commission. Roll call.
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Calorio, Council Agia,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson, Council Nguyen,
Yes.
Council Ojeda,
Yes.
Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey, and Mayor Petty.
What I was thinking about, I think we do need to make a
Okay,
coward shirt,
privilege,
and it'll be everybody that
Transfer
voted
information communication rules, the appointment of Francis
to
Trapasso
file that
as a
last
constable
week
for civil service.
Yeah.
and
with
criminal
cowards
business.
written underneath them, and for sure, money going towards
Yeah, I'd just
Gaza.
like to be on the record that the anti-foreclosure team has provided a lot of information, and I do feel really bad for our tenants that at this point, the city manager has already appointed him. There isn't anything council can do to reverse this decision. I spoke to the city manager earlier, and I would really like the city manager, if possible, to explain the term of how long this person will be a constable. And also the question of the things that the
You're right, Jill.
anti-foreclosure team has
He had no desire to.
provided.
He also
I would really like
expressly
for the
doesn't
chief of
want
police,
credit
chief
for
of police to sit down with
what
us
Trump's
folks
guy
and get
went over
everything
there to
they
do.
have on record.
Even
But
though it's
for the purpose of
seemingly
the
working, I don't know. It all
team,
seems
could
very
you
cynical to
explain
me.
what this informational communication means through the chair to the city manager and the term of the appointment made for
I've been
Mr. Trapasso.
just finished reading this book called "The Destruction of
Yeah, so the
Palestine
chair
is the
to
Destruction of
council,
the Earth."
Trapasso has been
Really
appointed
good
only
book.
for a year. I know that historically it's
But
been a 3-year term appointment.
it
But this,
sketches
he
out
would
Joe
only be appointed
Biden
for 1
on
year,
that
which expires
subject
December of
over the years, and
And through the
in the
chair,
80s, he said that
Mr.
Israel is
Manager,
the best
would
$3 billion
you,
investment the United
please
States makes.
explain to,
If we didn't have an Israel, we
certainly
would
to
invent
to
an
this
Israel.
body, but to the people watching,
So,
to the anti-foreclosure team. I'm really concerned.
No, I mean, no
about
one
the
should have ever
allegations that they're
expected
bringing
anything from
forward.
him on that.
Those
Right.
allegations
Yeah, the
need to
Democrats
be
are so
filed
much
with
better.
the police
The Democrats are so much
department,
better on
as
that
the
issue
interim
than
chief
Republicans are going to be, sure.
has had
Yeah.
conversations with the folks at the anti-foreclosure team about
I wonder. That is a
those
good question. I wonder if you could get a job as a constable and then just not
to the
approve
chair, to the
any.
council, I don't
How long
recall
you can keep your job if you
he
didn't approve
specifically
any
spoken directly
evictions
about this particular constable.
or serve
I
any?
know that they go through a process where they actually look in terms of the individual, any past practice, et cetera, before they make the recommendation. But I'd be happy to, again, create an opportunity for a meeting between the team.
I mean, that's good praxis, though.
I would make in form of a motion. I would really like for the chief of police to get in touch with the anti-foreclosure team.
They haven't discussed. They did public comment. They haven't discussed the item yet. They're
Again, for the clarification
on
of
the
public,
second
city
item
council does not have
so
a
far.
say on whether
Yeah.
a constable gets
They haven't got to
appointed. That
the
would be a
orders yet.
decision
This
of the
is
city manager.
appointments. They're
I
talking
do
about the
want
appointment
folks
of the
at
city
anti-foreclosure
constable.
team,
You could be a
provide
constable and then be like
information to
the
city
constable
council
version of that
and
lawyer
to the chief of
from
police and to
Detroiters.
you, because I'm really concerned about the allegations
The
that
one
are
who's
being
just
thrown.
like, I'll try my best.
Yeah.
you just show up and they're like, well, they're not leaving.
Communication,
So,
information relative to the appointment of Warren Sabrinoff to the zoning board.
Is it a dog bite? I'm really good at dog bites.
really good at dog fights.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
Through
man.
the chair to the administration, can you just explain?
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
public at
I need a
large,
career path right now. So,
to what degree
anybody has any
a
thoughts
constable
on
serves
jobs for me, please
leisure
share them in the
of the
chat.
city
You can
manager?
start a list.
We're on
I
going
just
back?
need a
This is on
job.
the
I would do. See, I would be a constable.
No, go ahead.
I would work at a cool store. I would
Explain the term and can the
be
term
like a personal assistant for somebody.
Just primary Jenny for city council.
your leisure and to what
I could do that.
That's 30 grand, dude.
parameters?
Yeah.
Are you able to?
You guys could orchestrate like a
shorten that
classic
service?
Yeah, through the chair to the council.
heel structure, like do it like a wrestling match.
By me,
Right.
and that's
Predetermined
something that,
outcome.
Depending on the allegations or
I love
anything
it.
that it's that may potentially impact.
I just gotta
residents of the
survive until
community, and that
November.
is confirmed by any of the court system or the police.
Probably
department.
January.
I do have the
Yeah,
authority
that's true,
also
yeah,
to
January.
remove the appointment of these individuals.
I wonder if local
Thank you,
politics
Mr.
works like
Chairman. I think
national
it's
politics, and
important
if we
to
just did
note
an
for
extreme
folks,
turn to the
that
right,
this is the position that
we'd just
serves
be
at the
flooded
leisure
with
of the city
money all of
manager.
a sudden.
And there is an opportunity.
George Deception,
to
I would
address
love to
concerns
come
as
unionize
it relates
the
to
company.
to set appointment. That being said, through the chair, can you explain sort of the thinking around a 1-year appointment versus a 3-year?
What's King
appointment,
got
which
on
I
him?
believe
Oh,
you said
headphones.
is the longest that a person can be appointed through the chair.
Manager?
I'll have the solicitor provide more context to that.
Madam
Have
Solicitor?
we talked about the new chamber at large candidate? Who's the new chamber at large candidate?
The state law allows appointing authority to appoint either.
Oh, is that the one that the Mass Live article?
Previously one, and then up to 3 years. That law changed a while ago, and our ordinance maintains the 1 year.
If I thought we could pull off an ironic, like right wing performative podcast for the money,
Chair,
I would
I'm
not.
sure
I
if
would do
there's
it
a
100%. But I just don't know that we're convincing enough.
Council relative to the concerns of this matter.
I think
certainly agree.
me and Katie have
While
wanted
we
to
not
do a
have
right wing merch,
the ability,
like drop shipping merch company called InfoWares.
Dictate to the city manager in this particular matter.
I think that would be pretty fun.
I do know that we have oversight capacity.
I'd totally be down for that.
And what I'm looking for here is a report back regarding concerns of misconduct that have been referenced and additional concerns to this body. In addition to that, Mr. Chairman, I would add to that order
Just a bit of light
that
skull measuring.
Reconsideration be applied to this particular appointee, be considered to be applied to this appointee if the manager, through his process of establishing
No degree.
a report,
I'm an uneducated
finds
man.
credence for that, Mr. Chairman.
So it's complicating
that would be my
matters for me
motion.
right now.
Thank you.
Councilman One?
Can you believe this? All these
Thank
smarts.
you, Mr. Chairman. I was also
No education.
hoping to speak
Gotten
on
this
this
far in
item.
life.
And I just
Never
want
done a
to
single
ask through the
item
chair
of
to the
homework.
administration. I know this is something that I have spoken
Seems
to
impossible.
the Worcester anti-foreclosure team about before,
And,
about the
you know,
concerns
now-
I have
now you
about
need more
Chicasso.
allowance.
So I just wanted to
You're
ask the
late.
administration, have you had any conversations
Why?
before
'Cause I
this
do.
about
'Cause you do.
their concerns?
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair to the council, I've had some conversations with the team, with Grace, related to this individual, and I know there's been others. There's been things that we've talked about. And again, this is something that, as part of the process the Department of Police reviews them, and then they submit that recommendation to me. But I do acknowledge the fact that there has been some conversations that we've had related to this individual and other constables also within the city.
Thank you. So through the chair to the administration, is there a reason why, despite community concerns, we would continue to appoint Trey Passo? Is there not enough constables, applications? Like, what is, I just don't understand why we would continue to consciously appoint someone who have had community concerns being raised.
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair to the council, we try to be very careful in terms of deciding and appointing individuals, because sometimes there are accusations and things that go through the courts, things that people submit complaints, etc.
I could sling anything,
there
pal.
may not be any findings
Natural
to those
salesman.
things, and so we want to be careful when we're reviewing these applicants and take all of that into context.
Yeah, we want to be careful when reviewing applicants. That's why
Thank
we
you. I
nominate
really
the worst
understand
one.
that as we try to appoint the best
Why would you bother
possible
saying that?
person, I always think about, hey, if there's community concerns, is there a better type of person for this position? And so is there no other constable applications aside from Trepasso? I'm just thinking about the pool of applicants that we have.
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair of the council, there's different moments that we have different applications come through related to the constables, whether it's renewals or new applications. So we're reviewing them as on need basis, depending on the submissions of those applicants. But again, it all fluctuates depending on renewals or new applicants that comes through as review.
Yeah, he thought this was
I would just like
an
to
in-depth
echo,
process because
the
it's
two
much more
counselors
in depth
before
than the
me
one he
and
went
the
through.
community on this
Yeah.
concern. I hope that we take it seriously.
I
and
have the
continue
application
to
pulled up right now,
find the
just to
best
see what-
people without community concerns. I just don't believe that this person who has community raising so many concerns
let's drop it in the
continues
chat
to
so
be
everyone
the person that we appoint. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have motions, we'll take these two items. The motion is to file these two items and also take the motions collectively. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio? Council Calorio?
It was Calorio. Calorio was the one driving.
Council Calorio?
Okay, sorry, yes.
Council Agia?
Apologies. Is this a motion to
Oh
file,
yeah, Matt.
point of
6
clarification?
a.m. or p.m.
And
Either
then-
one's fine. Just want to be clear.
So for clarification through the chair to the council, so we're filing the two items from the manager,
And
and then we're
quickly
taking
taking the
Council
orders.
King's. Yep.
No.
No?
I'm sorry. Are we, I apologize. Are we on 12A and 12B?
Correct.
Okay.
So we filed the two communications from the manager, and we're taking Council King's motion as well.
So on the councilor's motion, I'm a yes.
Then we might have to separate the two.
Yes, that would be great, please. Thank you.
It's at the prerogative of the chair. Mr. Mayor, would you like to separate them?
Yeah, we'll do the, let's do the 12A roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
I'm just making sure we're right here. This is 12A. Motion to file, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Yes. Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Ojeda? Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell? Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, 12B, motions to file.
I don't think I can pass this application to be a
Council Bergman?
constable.
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Yes. Council Nguyen?
Yes.
I do not have my
Yes.
LTC.
Council
I
Pasillo?
don't think I
Yes.
can get my
Council Russell?
LTC.
Yes. Council
I don't think
Toomey?
I can pass the
Mayor
background check.
Petty.
Yes, 12C.
I might be able to.
I'm sorry, Council King's motion, roll call.
It's supposed to be expunged.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty.
Yes. 12C is Communication Senior Manager, recommend adoption of the amendment to the salary ordinance to implement the municipality's recently completed
Copy
collective
that,
bargaining
Matt. I see
agreement
it.
with
I saw
Local
that.
490 and
Thank
Age.
you.
Roll call.
Mr. Chairman, can I just
On this-
comment on that real quick, please?
On 13C,
Yes.
Council King.
Thank you. This is the NAGE agreement, correct?
I mean, yeah, Gio. It doesn't say anything
Right.
about
12C, yep.
This is the NAGE agreement.
compensation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to, I did notice that there's some no strike language that is new in this particular contract. I understand it's been fully negotiated. I just want to make a public statement that, this also includes.
That is very interesting about
that
Trapasso there.
refusal to cross a picket line, the performance of duty.
Mary
will be
Mary
subject
Sam
to
won.
Termination up to and including, subject to action.
Just
disciplinary
copy
action
that
up to and
into
including
my
termination.
notes.
Just
Poke
want to
around on
publicly
that.
state that I hope, if that ever occurs, that the city
Wow.
does take safety into consideration. That's often a stand that folks will take if in fact engaging in refusal to cross results in a safety concern. So I just want to say for the record that I hope in the future, if that ever happens, that we will take that into consideration. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So, roll call.
So, Mr. Mayor, is to advertise the ordinance. Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council G.I.?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Merrill Carlson? Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Hida? Council Basillo?
So
Yes.
yeah,
Council Russell?
it definitely was
Toomey?
Bergman though,
Mayor
right?
Petty?
Yes. 12D.
Because he's
is,
in the chamber, so he was
Senior
listening
Manager
on his way
Information
in.
Communication relative to snowplow contract conflict of interest forms. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio? Council Calorio? Council G.I.?
Oh, nice
Yes.
system.
Council King?
That's great.
Yes.
Council Merrill Carlson? Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Hida?
Yes.
Council Basillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Oh, I read
Yes.
Ashland's put in a recent
Next up
WPSN
is,
brief that the district
Senior Manager
really
transmitting
needs substitute
information
teachers.
Communication concerning
Yeah,
designation
I
of
thought
for
about
residents with
doing.
disability plates,
Yeah,
placards.
I'm looking into that. It's definitely I think worth doing.
Send out the
The
traffic
problem
and
is it's
parking.
I don't know if
Council
they've upped
Bergman?
it,
Yes.
but a few years ago it was $100 a day,
Council G.I.?
Yeah.
which
Council King?
is
Yes.
like
Council Merrill Carlson? Council
is
Nguyen?
not
Yes.
bad
Council
at
Hida?
all, but
Council Basillo?
It's not
Council
cash,
Russell?
right? It's like a
Yes.
1099.
Council Toomey?
right.
And
So
Mayor
you're
Petty?
taking home
Yes.
$70 a day. Yeah.
Is the same manager recommend adoption of
That sucks.
Chapter 41.
so it would
Section
be it would
1B
be
relative to the
in
use of
addition to
direct
something
deposits for
else. I
payments.
think.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
But it could be a cool teacher and sit backwards on the chair. So
Yeah. You can AC
Council
Slater it.
G.I.?
Yes, yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Merrill Carlson?
destroy all the
Council
kids in
Nguyen?
Fortnite
Yes.
for
Council
money.
Hida?
Yes.
Council Basillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. 12G, refer to the Public Works Committee.
Mr. Chairman.
Council Russell.
Mr. Chairman, just a couple of questions on this through you to the administration. Mr. Manager, what's the plan with this? Is this something that we're going to be, you're going to be picking locations, or your team is going to be picking locations, or is it something we're going to have a discussion about before the locations are picked?
Mr. Manager.
Through the chair, through the council, this is something that we'll have discussions between the council, but also right now there's a survey, a public survey that has gone out to everyone asking for people's input on where those locations could potentially be within the business quarters for the sake of having these receptacles available to the public.
Okay. And Mr. Chairman, through you to the administration, I would just put an emphasis that before the locations are finalized, I would appreciate if they came back to the council, and for that matter, if it becomes a detailed discussion, maybe the Public Works Committee would be the right place to send them. But I think that, when you have these type of things that are on, where you're asking people to drop a dot, so to speak, on the, like sometimes the message doesn't get out to people. Not everybody is comfortable with going, interacting electronically and that kind of stuff. I think that, and an effort should be made to spread these out across the city. I
think Bernie's going on Hassan Piker's show tonight.
The effort should be made to spread them out.
Don't
If you look
leave
at the
to
map
go find
of
out.
where the dots are, it's
But-
not anywhere near.
Perhaps
some of the
right now.
neighborhoods that are most challenged, the urban areas that are most challenged.
I'm
when it
I'm
comes
great
to
at this
litter,
shit.
When it comes to
Fucking
trash,
best streamer that's
when
ever lived.
these issues
I mean,
are
can you
the
imagine
areas
if we
that are
weren't
not
going up
highlighted
against him?
on that map.
We'd
So
have
I
like
would expect-
at least 41 or 42
appreciate
viewers
the
right now.
Cooperation with the administration and the outreach.
Oh, it was earlier
to try
today.
and address
Oh,
some of
then
these
yeah,
urban
then we're
issues.
fine.
Yeah, well, what fucking, all right. That means I can continue
Sean,
my streak of never watching another Twitch program besides this.
Sean was a sub, and now he's a dom. Councilor Ojeda, please turn your fucking microphone on.
Wow.
Dude.
Beck is applying 100% gain to every other microphone in the room to try to get what he's saying.
Yeah, she told me to press it. I guess I can't do it. I'll try my best. But I think,
Earlier today, I was really trying to figure out how to hook up my new MIDI keyboard to be able to play that on the stream. But yet again, sending a feed to Streamlabs that is not just one microphone is the most complicated thing in the world.
They'll give a little bit more explanation about our process, the outreach.
What's the output
and
on
what
it?
we expect
MIDI?
engagement
Like,
and the continued engagement.
Yeah,
'cause we
just
wanna make
straight
sure that
MIDI. There's no
Yeah,
other
it's just
output.
it's just USB MIDI. It's like it's more about sending the audio from a
Thank you.
program, like a
So
Right.
to your specific question, there's
You have to
been
use a virtual
number
audio
of,
cable or something
social
like that.
media,
It's a lot.
outreach efforts that have been done so far through all the normal social media that you would expect. There's also been a article that's been put in Vocero, so we could speak to people who primarily read that magazine. And so those have been the two primary sources that we've used so far to
Vocero's
get the
still
word
around?
out about where people could participate.
able to make sure this is working. Would the focus also be to attend or get that information to some of the network centers? That
I
deal
was
directly with
sure
the
that
residents,
Vocero
in those,
closed.
Type of areas that are known to be, I hate to say it, full of trash.
Yes, we've also, I should have
They
pointed
paid to
out,
put
we've
an ad
also
in a
reached out
no
and
longer
put,
existent
flyers
magazine.
in
That'd
many of
be
these
perfect.
locations. Bless you. Many of these
Like,
locations.
I was
that you,
positive. I mean,
talk about,
I'm
have
checking
to get
now.
A specific
Maybe I'm
list. I can
wrong.
put that
I
together as to exactly which ones where we've put these. There's also been, as you've probably noticed, a couple articles in the local paper as well as on Mass Live that also have talked about
no,
this.
I'm wrong.
Along which includes
They
the
put out
website
an
address for
issue
people to,
a couple days ago.
to allow them to participate.
Good for Vocero.
No, thank you. I like this. I think this is a great opportunity. And I like the idea that on the trash receptacles, there's opportunities to put maybe some art or some more information where residents can figure out what's going on in their neighborhoods and stuff like that. So I like the fact that it's becoming more interactive with the people in the city. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's something wrong with
12G. We're refer that to
when
public
Ojeda
works.
speaks. It
Roll
makes
call.
that noise.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
It's not on our
Yeah,
end.
his, something's wrong with his mic, and so
Council
they're
Carlson? Council Nguyen?
driving
Yes.
the gain on it.
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell? Yes. Council Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes, 12H to 12O, motion to adopt on the roll call. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Mayor Carlson? Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Ojeda? Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Councilmember Carlson's asked to take 16A, that's 16A out of order. We have some in the audience on this. So this is a report of the Committee on Economic Development. Upon the Communications Team Manager, recommend adoption of resolution to file an application to designate 57 Exchange Street as a certified project of the Housing Development Incentive Program and improve the tax increment exemption agreement for the property. Recommend adoption of the resolution. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Mayor Carlson?
Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Ojeda? Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, 13A to 13S, motion is to adopt.
Oh, next one after this is
Council
Joe
Bergman?
Petty.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Joe
Scolding
Petty.
Christian.
Council
Scolding
King?
Christian.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen?
Ooh,
Yes.
they're hiring an
Council Ojeda?
assistant city solicitor. Should I
Yes.
apply?
Council
Apply,
Russell?
everybody?
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
I've seen you solicit before.
13P,
You're pretty good at it.
motion is referred to
thanks,
Public Works Committee.
Try.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Ojeda?
Yes.
Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, 14A, requested Standing Committee on Municipal Legislative Operations review the best practices and rules and order the municipalities relative to conduct.
Great
of
job
public
reading your own
officials during
fucking order,
meetings,
Joe.
as it reads. Council King?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I stand in praise of this initiative, and I stand in praise of this order. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful order. It's timely, Mr. Chairman. And certainly, any adjustment we can to ensure that we're addressing rules and that we're ensuring that there's an equal application of rules, which would of course be part of this, is something that benefits everyone, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking forward to the dialogue. I know that I've been here on this council for quite some time, Mr. Chairman, and as I've expressed to you directly, and I'll restate again, I regrettably lost my composure a couple of meetings ago, Mr. Chairman.
I shouldn't be giving him that.
And,
Nope.
Appreciate all the grace that has been extended towards me in that regard.
Oh,
you know, we
no,
deal
like,
with a lot of
who is advising him to
matters
do
here at
this?
Council, Mr. Chairman.
No one's asking
And,
him to do this.
This is so stupid.
I've sat here over the years. I've seen councilors use the C word in their representation, and we as a council came together in opposition to that. And there was some,
Wait, what?
you know, First Amendment rights that we went over at the time, Mr. Chairman. We've seen folks here use profanity on the council floor. We've heard folks raise their voices, Mr. Chairman. We've heard folks shed tears and be passionate and be loud, Mr. Chairman. And certainly, I welcome this. I know that in the research I've done pertaining to decorum, Mr. Chairman, some of the things that I hope to be on this when it goes to MLO is in that research, Mr. Chairman. It also talks about other aspects of decorum that I think the public may not be thinking about. It talks about false allegations, Mr. Chairman. It talks about decorum of elected officials on not speaking on behalf of elected body when there has not been a vote, or there's been partial communication with that body, Mr. Chairman. So this certainly is a welcomed matter, Mr. Chairman. And
Wow, these blog raps
I've
are going to get intense pretty soon.
been privy to a lot, as mentioned on this council floor. And, you know, I would like to state again that various folks have expressed themselves in various ways here. And I want it to be clear that there should not always be, and there should not specifically be, interpretations of threats or intimidation, Mr. Chairman, in that regard. You know, I think that what we are looking for is a way to be better, Mr. Chairman. And I'd also like to add an order pertaining to this, Mr. Chairman, and that a motion. And that motion would be that we also get for us other ways to improve decorum here in the city of Worcester and for elected officials as it relates to matters of the body. and
He's
that's
turning it
specifically
against
as
Joe
I'm
Petty
referencing,
and making it
as
about
relates to
what Joe
to
did
crime
wrong
in
that
other
day, not
places
what
and
he did wrong.
spaces,
In
so that we
a
can
thin, like
certainly
a
navigate
heavily
together,
veiled
Mr.
way
Chairman.
that
So
Right.
won't
again,
make
this is a
any sense to
wonderful order.
anybody besides like
I
him
stand
and
in
Joe.
praise of the initiative, and I'm looking forward to us adjusting rules and applying them equally to all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I speak on this?
Councilor Haji.
Yeah, I feel bad that Councilor King actually had to apologize. I certainly don't feel like he threatened anyone that night, and we know that different people are held to different standards all the time. But that said, I support Councilor King's motion. I would actually like to offer an amendment to this, particularly on the language of during meetings. I'd like to add also after meetings, especially in public settings within City Hall.
Another thinly veiled attack.
Okay, so we'll send that to.
This is getting
Mo.
messy. Joe opened the
Mr.
door
Chairman.
up for this to get messy.
Yes, I would also like to speak on 14B as well. So if you want to read that,
Okay, we'll do 14A right now.
I would like to speak on both.
Or on 14A if you want to speak on it, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Oh, you want to speak it collectively together?
Yes.
Okay, request standing committee on municipal legislative hold a public hearing relative to the public officials using remote participation of the city council and standing committee meetings.
Oh my
Include
God,
review
Joe
of
looks
any
so
potential,
despondent.
Limitations and options associated with participating. in the
Maybe
meeting.
he'll just get tired of it
Such
and
a meeting.
quit.
Councilor Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's unfortunately our
I can take it with
only
a pile of salt that these orders
chance
aren't
with,
targeted. But
H2Me.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say for the public that I do not break any rules or conduct for attending council meetings remotely, or have I done anything differently than other councilors. You know, I swore on the council, and so has Councilor Merrill Carlson. Mr. Chairman, you also didn't follow the rules to come down to speak. And, you know, for me, what I saw was the vice chair not threatening you, but asking you to follow the rules yourself. I also would like to address something very seriously, which is under your leadership and guidance, there has been inconsistent and selective bias in the application of Rule 11, which resulted into 1,500 petitioners and community members having to fight to speak on the council floor, and the ACLU letter stating that we are using unconstitutional viewpoint discrimination by not allowing the ceasefire resolution back in October, and then having to come back this previous council meeting. I would like to motion for the city clerk to report on how and who the public and a city councilor would file a complaint to about the mayor chairing meetings with inconsistent rulings and experiencing discrimination on the council. Mr. Chairman, under your leadership, I have felt unsafe around this council body. I have faced transphobia with being misgendered, and recently learned that I have been dehumanized to a point where I'm being referred to as it by my colleagues on this council.
Whoa.
Mr. Chairman, you have also misgendered me, and therefore I have never felt there was any avenue I could turn to for safety and feel protected against the discrimination and toxicity of our council culture. And as we take a look at these two orders, I hope we take seriously the matters of transphobia and discrimination within our own council and practices. In regards to the utilizing of Zoom, I really, really wished I felt safe enough to show up on the council floor, but I don't, due to this level of dehumanization of my being. Governor Healy extension of the COVID measures, including the usage of Zoom for public meetings, is set to expire in March, at the end of March. I'm going to make a motion for the city clerk to report a detailed report showing the increase or decrease of public participation and access since remote attendance have been available, doing a comparison of the last 4 years from 2020 to present with the 4 years prior with the public when they did not have these options available to them, as well as noting the correlations and timeline of COVID and other public health spikes with council participation. I'm also going to motion for the city manager to work with the governor and AOG to advocate for an extension of Zoom being used for public meetings. As I mentioned, my own feeling of unsafety on this council, I know as someone with many marginalized, intersecting identities, City Hall is not safe, welcoming, nor accessible to everyone. Even those who testified last week against my usage of Zoom, they testified online, which to me speaks volumes on the need for this to continue. And I want to remind folks that COVID is not over. We are still seeing the spikes and more viral,
That was so funny
contagious
when
public
Colleen
health
called
alerts,
in
like the rising
to say that
cases of
Two
norovirus.
calls in.
It is important that we offer safe and accessible options for residents and government. I'm not sure why we wouldn't want that, unless you are only targeting me with these orders, which would be a prime example of how we as a government create discriminatory and inaccessible rules as a result of pettiness and the need for ineffective levels of control and policing. Thank you.
Send that with Councilor Pacillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to clarify on the Zoom because before I ran for office, I worked to change the public participation rule because I actually did look at all the numbers, I think from 2017 to 2021, just for the public being able to participate in a hybrid fashion. So I thought that was in the rules that shouldn't change.
It is in the rules.
Through you to the clerk. So public, okay.
So if I could provide some clarification, Mr. Mayor. So through the chair to the council. So basically, it is in the rules. I don't think the Attorney General's opinion states about public coming in virtually. I think it's mostly about members of the body. So we actually have an email out to the law department, and they're kind of looking at the new regulations, hopefully from the AG's office.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm rising to speak on 14B. I was speaking previously on 14A. I wasn't aware we were going to take those together, Mr. Chairman. You know, it's hard not to take these orders as targeted orders, Mr. Chairman. You know, as I mentioned before, I've asked for grace from the public. I'm asking grace from this body and from yourself as I communicated to you directly. I'm not the first person to momentarily lose their composure on this floor. That being said, Mr. Chairman,
Then why are you apologizing
I
for
actually
it?
worked with Councilor Pacillo on those efforts to improve participation prior to her time in office. I'm the councilor that brought forward the motion prior to COVID in a timely manner upon the suggestion of Joe Corzini regarding going on Facebook Live and getting the proper equipment so that we can have that level of participation, Mr. Chairman. And tonight, we had a couple of, we had at least three at one point in time, councilors participating
what should
remotely.
my FOIA
And we've
for
heard
this
some
say?
concerns about in-person.
Any and all emails combining. Oh, we're losing the feed. Oh, hold on. I might have to pull mine up because I think Bryan is doing something else for a little bit here. Yeah, we lost it. Hold on. I'll pull it up.
Participation this evening,
Oh,
Mr. Chairman, for the first time tonight. You know, the hybrid meetings are a great civic engagement tool, Mr. Chairman. Not just for the folks that come and watch and listen and learn and unlearn, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Chairman, I certainly appreciate the comments that were made by my colleague remotely. But this particular matter is something that we should be supporting on an ongoing basis. Just about every counselor here, I think, or not every counselor, but just about every counselor has participated remotely at some point. We have department heads. I'm not sure if public officials also includes them or if it's just elected officials. And I think that it would unnecessarily impede our legislative abilities. And if in fact it applies to folks that are not elected officials, that are appointed officials, that could also unnecessarily impede our ability to provide the proper oversight for operations of the city, Mr. Chairman. And Yep, that's it. Thank you. I'm in my position. Motion to file.
Haji?
I don't know if people here in this room notice the powerful statements that Councilor Nguyen made, but I am certainly going to have my own statement soon after this meeting. But let me just say this before I say my motion, if Councilor Nguyen is okay with it, to hold their two motions for the purpose of making sure that the public has a chance to chime in as to the validity of extending the remote participation for public officials. And for that reason, unless Councilor Nguyen objects, I would like to hold those two motions for the public listening. You can come in next Tuesday. Those will be tabled under privilege, and you can speak to them. Just a very quick statement, and I am going to have way more to say right after this meeting. The reason why a lot of folks from marginalized identities, some of whom are sitting right in these seats, don't run for office or get scared and intimidated running for office is precisely because of what Councilor Nguyen said this evening.
Okay, so we're going to hold those, Councilor Nguyen, going to hold those two under
Say,
privilege.
feature.
Mr. Chairman,
You
if
could
it's
say, not a
okay,
bug.
I'm okay with holding my motion to the city manager, but I would like to continue the motion to the city clerk. Those two, I think it's important for them to give us reports back.
Okay. So the first motion is 14B is a file. Roll call. Councilor Bergman?
Just for clarification, because I'm hearing comments that I think are different than the order. So to the chair, because it's your order. If I read this correctly, you're asking us, MLO, to hold a hearing relative to public officials using remote. This has nothing to do with the public participation portion.
Correct.
Is that correct? Because I hear all sorts of comments about limiting the public's ability to attend meetings in a hybrid model. And as I read this, that's not what you're asking. So thank you
Correct.
for the clarification.
Okay, so the first motion is the file. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
No.
Councilor Calorio?
No.
Councilor Agia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda?
Yes.
Councilor Basillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
No.
Councilor Toomey? And Mayor Petty.
No.
Mr. Mayor, that motion is 5-6.
These fucking guys.
Motion
These.
is to send out the MLL.
Oh my God.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor
which
Bergman?
item are we talking about?
14B.
And what happened on the last
14.
one was on B, right?
Yeah, that was on B.
And what was the vote on that? Was it to
6 to 5.
5
To
to
file
6,
it,
so
so it was
5,
filed.
so it
Okay.
failed. No, actually,
Thank you,
did-
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So we can, do we vote 14A?
So just a clarification, it was a 5-6 vote, it did not, so now it's MLO vote.
So it was not filed,
It
okay?
was not filed, so
Okay.
14B, just for clarification, another
What?
roll call to send to MLO.
And what happened to 14A?
We haven't taken that up because I think the mayor took it out of order.
Okay.
So we'll do 14B first. Roll call to send it to MLO.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Agia?
No.
Councilor King?
No.
Councilor Merrill Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
No.
Councilor Ojeda?
No.
Councilor Basillo?
No.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes.
Motion to reconsider that, Mr. Chairman. So we don't. there's no-
Motion to reconsider. Oh,
Councilor
my
Bergman?
God.
No.
Councilor Calorio?
No.
Councilor Agia?
No.
Councilor King?
No.
Councilor Merrill Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
No.
Councilor Ojeda?
No.
Councilor Basillo?
No.
Councilor Russell?
No.
Councilor Toomey?
No.
And Mayor Petty.
no. And two motions made. Roll call.
Mr. Chair, I will withdraw the first motion. I'd like to just keep the motion to the one that refers to the city manager, to hold that, and
So send one to the city manager and hold the other one?
I'm going to hold the one that goes to the city manager and withdraw the one that goes to the city clerk.
Okay. So we're going to hold the one for the city manager and the one for the city clerk. Roll call.
And then also 14A to MLO, or?
Excuse me.
Are you also recommending 14A go to MLO? Or you can take them separately?
Separate.
Okay. Councilor, so Councilor Nguyen to the clerk, Councilor Bergman,
Yes.
Councilor Caloria,
Yes.
Councilor Haji,
Yes.
Councilor King,
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson, Councilor Nguyen,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda,
Yes.
Councilor Pasillo,
Yes.
Councilor Russell,
Yes.
Councilor Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. 14A to MLO, roll call.
Point of clarification, I don't think we voted on my motion to hold
You hold on the privilege.
Under privilege.
oh,
Councilor Bergman?
What,
Yes.
point of order, Mr. Chairman. Is this a vote to hold this under privilege, or is this a vote to send it to MO?
This is a vote to send 14A to MLO.
Okay.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor
Three
Caloria?
guesses how this
Yes.
vote goes.
Councilor Haji?
yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson?
Oh,
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda?
Yes.
Councilor Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Order City Council, Merrill Carlson, Councilor George Russell, request city manager provide council with a report concerning the feasibility of removing responsibilities associated with sidewalk repair and resurfacing from the Department of Transportation and Mobility back to the Department of Public Works and Parks. Councilor Merrill Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to clarify that there are two different dollar amounts, and there's two different ways in which sidewalks and streets in this city get done. For the purposes of this city council, for the 5 district councilors, there has been for 45 years in this city, and I repeat, 45 years in which there's $1.2 million that gets allocated for street resurfacing. There is $120,000 that gets allocated for for sidewalks. I apologize. That's the monies that I'm talking about. I'm talking about what each district councilor, there's 5 district councilors, and for 45 years, that's been the process. I clearly know and understand, and maybe I will even agree that for general public, they didn't understand the process because it's complicated. So, as you know,
mean to say
Mr. Chairman,
corrupt and stupid.
as my colleagues on Public Works knows, that for the last several years, I've been saying
leaving it up to
that
district
we have
councilors
not
to
been
dole out
given
whose
the
street or sidewalk
selection
gets
for
repaved
the streets,
is
nor have
like
we been given the selection for the
just
sidewalks.
cartoon Democrat
If my
politics.
colleagues in
It's
general public
crazy.
want to look back into last year, when I put the motion on the floor, which was asking the city manager to do 2 years' worth of streets, and that was because after discussion with the city manager, and after us finding out that no, the streets had not been selected by
Like, it's just an
the
obvious
city,
way to
by the
hook up
district councilors.
your people
And again, Mr.
with
Chairman,
nicer
this
shit
is in
so they
no
continue to
way
vote for you.
to disrupt how any street or any sidewalk is designed. We have not, as a city council, been given a list to do our sidewalks. The last list that was approved was in 2020.
Yeah, that's exactly how it
I
works,
spoke to the
yeah.
manager this morning at
It's like
length,
whoever's
which
closest
means
to
21, 22,
accessing
23,
influence
24,
with
and we
someone
are
like Andy Merrill
currently
Carlson gets their
clearly
street
approaching
repaved.
2025. The city clerk's office,
It's a
along
terrible
with the city
system. It should
council's
just be
office, has worked
centrally planned.
for the past 2 years, and I repeat, the past 2 years to get this process back in place, because we know that
God.
what happened to us is through
I love it when she gets into
losing
complaining to the
Commissioner
manager mode.
Lucy, Commissioner Fink coming on
Like she's at
board,
freaking Target.
and then moving some of this to DTM, and the confusion over who was keeping the list.
This soda
There's
stream
been
has a
ton of
3-year
work that's gone into
warranty.
trying to get us back on track. But as Councilor Pasillo has talked about over and over and over and over again on this council, that there's no way that she knows what's going on. And the reason that is because we as councilors no longer get our construction progress report, which tells us what sidewalks, what streets the city of Worcester is working on. So, for the last 2 years, Councilor Russell, myself, have been working, trying to just give us the list of the selections that we would pick. Again, we're not saying we're looking to design your work. We've never said that. What we have said is that the council is looking for the monies that we have historically. And again, this isn't out of Chapter 90 monies. This isn't out of what DTM would historically be doing. This is something that there's always been $1.2 million that has been given to the district councilors to choose the streets that have been put on the council calendar and have been approved by this council for us to select what streets. And we select them by the professionals writing on those sheets which are the worst streets versus those who probably can wait. We know that this city, in terms of resurfacing, we're behind times. We know that. We know that in the CARES Act money, there was a tremendous amount of money that was spent on streets, and it was divided amongst the 5 districts. We can go back and we can look at that list. It's easily and readily available. So I'm happy to say that tonight, Mr. Chairman, that after a extremely long discussion with the city manager today, that we have found resolution to the sidewalk list. And I will, at this point, ask the manager to get up and speak about where we're headed with this sidewalk list that we've been trying to get done.
Mr. Manager.
Through the chair to the council, one of the things about the sidewalk list is the sidewalk selection by the district councils happen on a yearly basis, annual basis.
That's why
The selection of the
Batista
streets
seems so
happen
low. He had to talk to Candy for more than an hour. God, that's severe
selection.
punishment. I would quit.
And they select 2 years out, etc. It is true, there has been a lag in terms of the selection of the streets and us providing to council a list of these particular streets over the past few years. There's a number of reasons why that has happened, but we feel confident now that the list that we have is the list that best represents the sidewalks that have been approved by council and that has been selected by some of the councilors. We will be bringing that forward back to the council with a report and the list of the sidewalks that need to be repaired. We're prepared to do that for the next meeting. And then we'll make sure that the work that gets done this upcoming season will take into consideration the last 4 years of the work that needed to be done in our sidewalks. Now, that doesn't preclude the fact that we've done some work in sidewalks, whether there's been main arterials or other areas that we've had to do water or sewer infrastructure improvements that have led us to do some sidewalks. These sidewalks are particular to neighborhood streets.
Candy sounds like, you know, I promised a bunch of my constituents that they would get their street
So we'll be
repaved,
looking forward to
and it
make sure that
hasn't been
we
repaved, and now I
move
look like an
forward
asshole.
on implementing, constructing the last 4 years of sidewalks that we've had on this list that needs to get done. And we'll be coming forward in the next week or so, the next city manager calendar with that list as well.
So I just want to say how much I appreciate the city manager working with me today to finally bring a close to something that, quite honestly, has been extremely frustrating. But again, I appreciate all the work that you've done, and with the work that you've done, my motion would be to file this item. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councilor King, followed by Councilor Russell.
Councilor Russell can go first.
Council Russell, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I stand in concern with regards to what I heard this evening. I can tell you we've had an issue that we brought forward regarding resurfacing on the west side, where there was 42 potholes on a very, very, very short street, Mr. Chairman. Those were temporarily filled, became an issue again. And there was an action, Mr. Chairman. We know as appointed city managers responsible for oversight of these departments. And I heard tonight that there's some gaps. So I'm going to ask through the chair to the administration, please define for me what it means. And again, from what I heard, 2-year gaps, not providing the streets going unselected. Can you please specify what exactly that means? Is that accurate? Did it happen? I'm questioning
about
if the
a
work hasn't
street
been done through the
in
chair.
this system would make it a
Mr.
street
Manager?
with gaps.
Oh, let me try to. This is like a whirlwind here, and if I confuse myself, I'm gonna have Steve Raleigh come forward, the commissioner, to kind of explain the selection process. Typically, when a street is a resident neighborhood organization.
George is saying in stash. This is the council business that the council hasn't been able to get to because of how Petty bungled the Gaza vote.
The sidewalks.
Don't let them fool you
Body
into
gets sent
thinking
Public Works has
that
a discussion, it gets
they
approved,
do
it comes back to
anything.
this body, and then it gets approved, and then the department creates a list. And there's a list, and then from that list, based on the funding allocation that the city manager recommends to the council and the council approves, there's a selected number of streets that get done. There could be 25 streets that are selected in one particular district. It may be that 20 will be funded to be able to be done that particular year. And again, and typically when you select your streets, you're selecting them for 2 years, so there's a 2-year cycle, and then the sidewalks happen on an annual basis. Again, not every street gets done every single year because there's a process and also resources related to that. That list can grow and grow and grow as it becomes a very large list of sidewalks and streets that need to be done in the city. We have over
Oh my God,
close
Joe,
to
can you
500
stop
miles of
breathing
streets
into
that
your
needs to get done in the
microphone?
city, and many different streets has a different pavement index. And that pavement index is what the council was alluding to, that when they want to select a street or determine which are the priorities that we need to address in our neighborhoods, that pavement index plays a role in determining the quality of that street and whether that street needs to be done or we should wait off another year or 2 years or 3 years. One of the things that has happened, and I think when you alluded to the gaps or I alluded to some of the challenges, is in the challenges of transitioning some of the responsibilities from DPW into DTM, and there's been a lot of turnover in our DPW department. There's been some gaps in areas of communicating to council, following through on that list, understanding what's on the list, what shouldn't be on the list, and I think that's what's taken some time to really try to come to grasp between the Department of Transportation and working with the councilors, and also working with DPW, because it's still a collaborative engagement here between DTM and DPW. And so that's what I'm trying to make reference to. You alluded to a street on the west side that had 40 some odd potholes. That one of the things that we as a city have not done for many, many years, probably for the history of the city, is we haven't done a lot of pavement management. We haven't created a real pavement management program that is not just waiting till the street deteriorates and then we just put a brand new street back on again. There's other ways that we can, that we should be doing, other technologies that we should be doing and using, so that preserves some streets 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, etc., so that we're not waiting for the streets to be in disrepair and then us go back and grind everything and then put something back again. So we want to make sure that we put that forward, and that's something that I think we've had some conversations in the council floor, and we've talked about, and it's an industry standard right now and across the entire state, across the entire nation, about making sure we have great pavement management practices in the way we manage our resurfacing program. But I gave a little bit more than what you asked, but I was just trying to give in context of everything that's happening within this area.
Thank you. Much appreciated, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to ask for three things. I'm going to ask, Mr. Chairman, that we get a report back delineating the overlap and overlay and intersection of the two departments that were referenced, so the public can understand exactly what those are. Sounds to me like that someone dropped the ball here, Mr. Chairman, to be quite frank with you. That would be my first order. My second order, motion, would be that the city create a time frame and timetable for the establishment of a pavement management strategic plan, Mr. Chairman. And thirdly, Mr. Chairman, I would request an audit of the construction progress reports that have or haven't been done, Mr. Chairman. Also, as part of that particular motion, I'd like to really see that audit to include the selection process for streets over the last 5 years, completed streets over the last 5 years, Mr. Chairman, with funding considerations and realizations noted, Mr. Chairman. And I would ask that come from our auditor who came before us tonight, Mr. Chairman. For me, all of this is safety related. Sidewalk repair and resurfacing is safety related. Again, I've learned a lot over the past year regarding that intersection between the departments. But I'm questioning to what degree the work's been done, Mr. Chairman. So I look forward to those reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Russell.
Mr. Chairman, as Chairman of the Public Works Committee, I can report to you that the work has not been done. It has not been done, and that's the reason why Councilor Carlson and I put this item on the agenda. The work has not been done. It's not been done for quite a while. Having Bob Moylan fill in for those 3 months, and it brought back a lot of thoughts about the way things were under Moylan, under Moosey, under other folks, and how things changed because of some of the changes that the previous city manager put in separating the departments. Mr. Chairman, think for a moment that Commissioner Moosey, when he got sick, he was in charge of...
I can't believe they're still fucking
311
talking
customer
about
service.
this.
He was in charge of traffic and mobility department. Because it wasn't traffic and mobility, it wasn't 311, but he was running those jobs. He was in charge of facilities. He was the guy
I got
doing
data
all the
back
facilities.
on
Now we have a facilities department.
quality of
it's
life
changed,
team and
it got
clearing
lost in the
homeless
shuffle.
encampments
It's as simple as that.
for the past 6
It got
months.
lost in the shuffle.
And
Mr. Chairman, it
like
appears to me that there's been
80%
some kind of
of
a call to
the
action
complaints
almost
that
among
police
folks
responded to
thinking
came
that
from the
Councilor
311
Carlson
app.
and myself have some kind of
That'll be
evil
probably my
plot
lead-
here to take
my lead
over
story
and
this
design
week.
every sidewalk. And that's not the case. What we're
Pretty
trying to say
nightmarish
is that
document
as
reading through
district
that.
councilors, that we are 2 of the 5 district councilors that like to see our streets and our sidewalks get done. We'd like to see for us, the street work, the street list that we just got maybe less than a year ago. When that came out, it wasn't even the list. The city clerk's office had to go back and dig out every petition.
They're obviously,
that was put
that's
before
exactly
the
right,
Public
Chair.
Works
They're
Committee,
obviously using
and
this
it was approved by this council and
to,
added to the
hook
list
it up
to
people
be
who
an
support
accurate list
them.
put together.
And then the
It got
city
lost
isn't
in the
delivering
shuffle.
on the
I'm
promises
not
that they
blaming
make
the traffic
to
and
their
mobility department.
patrons.
I'm not blaming Public Works
supporters.
Department, but the reality is it got lost in the shuffle. That was for the streets. And for the sidewalks, we've been waiting for this list for 4 years. Every year, the money gets in the budget.
Shouldn't be
gets
a political
approved, it doesn't
decision
get picked.
what sidewalks get
We, as district councilors and as councilors at large,
repaved when.
hear constantly from people saying that they want to repave.
It
the
should be a
sidewalk,
very
or they
boring
wanna
job
you can't
assigned
allocate-
to
You can't get it done if it's not
a
before
professional
you.
who just wants to
It's
get it
that
done
simple.
to evaluate
Mr.
which
Chairman,
sidewalks need to be
this
repaved
amount
when.
is the same amount every year for streets and sidewalks for district councilors to prioritize and to go out and do the research on. The same amount that it was 13 years ago or 12 years ago when I came to this council floor. the same amount. This amount needs to be increased. What was $1 worth in 2012 compared to what it's worth today? You know, we were lucky to get the money that we got from the federal government that City Manager Augustus put toward repaving the streets to try and make up, but we need to take a good look at this in the budget, Mr. Manager, going forward, because the dollar amounts for streets and sidewalks for district councilors to be able to look at and to prioritize and to work with neighborhood folks to get done is the same amount it was a decade ago. And that's not right. And the costs have gone up. So, Mr. Chairman, I just think by putting this order forward, I mean, we don't even have a Commissioner of Public Works yet that I know of. Nobody's told me if we have one. But I'm not trying to push things or take power or positions from one department to the other. I don't even know who the Commissioner of Public Works is going to be. I'm just saying, let's get the job done. And right now, it's falling through the cracks. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Council Hadjiai.
I really wasn't going to speak on this, but it feels necessary for a couple of reasons. One is I just want to make sure that the District 5 counselors and District 1 counselors and District 4 counselors understand that this order doesn't mean, certainly not from my knowledge of how hard Councilor Pasillo works and how hard Councilor Ojeda works and how hard I work, to make sure that our streets and sidewalks are in repair within the confines of what is allocated to us. This conversation has ballooned from taking responsibility away from one department where, as I understand it, the process of selection is mainly owned by DPW. And I personally, I can't speak for Councilor Pasillo or Councilor Ojeda, I personally didn't find it restrictive or hard to sit down with the folks. I got a list. I looked at the list. I received their opinion as experts. I looked at the feedback from my constituents. I'm thoroughly confused about why folks are confused about this list or the process. I just want to make sure, Mr. Manager, that given that we have a new leader incoming, hopefully an incoming leader of the Department of Public Works, that we're not deciding the flow of work and the collaboration between the two departments. I welcome the expertise and the knowledge and the vision that the Department of Transportation and Mobility have. I also welcome, and hopefully that vision will be in alignment with theirs of the new Department of Public Works Commissioner. I just want to make sure for the folks that are listening to this conversation that I didn't find this process to be difficult. I made my choices, I made my picks. Certainly we can find more ways to streamline it, but I just want to make sure that people aren't misunderstanding that Councilor Ojeda, Councilor Pasillo, and I are in any way, shape, or form not taking care of our districts and or voicing concerns when we see that a process isn't working.
Okay, Mr. Manager.
Yeah, I just want to kind of end with a few things here that I think have been communicated, and they're great things that have been talked about here. There's a lot of things that we're working on, and maybe we need to be a little bit more quicker in trying to get it to you, but we've been working with consultants to try to put these efforts forward. There's a pavement management program that we're working on. It's kind of like a strategic plan that outlines everything. That document is something that we want to meet with the councilors, go over it at length with it, bring it forward to this council body as well. We are working on a document that delineates the responsibilities of both departments. Many departments work in collaboration on many different issues in many different situations. What has happened over the last 2 years is that the Department of Transportation was created 2 years ago, roughly 3 years ago, but 2 years when they've been really materializing and working. And what they're presenting, or what we've presented by shifting that.
Epic, I've wanted to do this.
It's created a significant culture shift.
It's just the amount of time it would take is
we think
like.
about our streets infrastructure.
if anybody
DPW for many, many
feels
years have just seen many
motivated
different departments,
to
and
take
so they
on
tried to do as
that
best as they could
data
based on the
journalism
regulations
assignment,
and things that they could
reach
put
out to
forward,
me.
to
I
the best
can
of
pay
their
you
abilities.
probably
But we
not
know right now we
what you
have a
deserve, but
demand
enough
for access. We have a demand
to
for more mobility.
make it
We have
a make it a
demand for
gig
better
if you
transportation
want to
networks.
take on that work.
Not only from the public, from the council, from everyone that's engaging in our day-to-day transportation network. So we want to make sure that we're doing things right. We want to clean this up. We want to make sure that the departments are working.
I
in
think
tandem,
that would be an
knowing
excellent
which
project
delineation and
to
responsibility
have
is where. And so we've been
cooking
working
as we
that.
get
We'll
into
come back with
campaign
the council
season.
and we'll make sure that the council is fully aware. And we are taking a hard look at increasing that funding for the resurfacing program because we do
Yeah,
acknowledge that.
Trevor, reach
we've
out
been
if
limited
you
over the
really
past
want
few
to. I
years,
can
understanding, knowing the rising of the cost of
help
materials as well.
get the
So more
necessary
to come
information.
hopefully in the next few months in anticipation of the budget, because we know the budget will be an indication of the areas that we're going to put some of our priorities and focus on. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Toomey, did you?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Councilor Haji spoke about how she got to pick her streets and sidewalks, or sidewalks, I don't remember which it was, but how did you do that? Because I know my colleagues have said that they have not been given a list or being able to choose anything. So I'm just curious how that happened through you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, Kate coming in with a
Councilor
gotcha.
Russell might have an answer on that.
Chairman, I could clarify that. We got a street list recently. We didn't get a sidewalk list, but
Okay. Street
and it was a long time before we got
All
the
right.
street list.
So is that what the councilor was saying, that she got to choose her streets?
Oh my God.
So no one's gotten their sidewalk list, just want to make sure. So
That's 4
when I
years.
was chair of Public Works, it was every year, we had to request from the district councilors, please give us your list of streets. Is separate, totally separate from the city overall management of larger streets and main highways and byways, et cetera. And so this was years and years, as the council said, 45 years of practice that the district councils got to choose streets and sidewalks. And so I think it's just very clear that's what the councilor is looking for, is the ability to make sure that they have that opportunity, that it hasn't been taken away. Has nothing to do with taking away design and all of that stuff from DTA or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just
Did it?
really getting back the
Why
ability
didn't
for
the-
district council
why didn't
to
it say
choose what's a
that?
priority based on their interaction with their folks in their community, their constituents, and the needs in the community. Thank you.
Councilor Bergman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since Department of Transportation Mobility has been established, I often wondered myself at various meetings, who does what between that department and DPW, and I appreciate the city manager's candor when he indicated that they're now meeting to try to delineate whose responsibility belongs to the Department of Public Works and which responsibilities go to the Department of Transportation Mobility. I mean, I think that's needed, but I also think the councilors should have an opportunity to take a look at that before those are finalized. And I say that from the perspective that we're the ones that are going to be establishing or approving, not establishing, but approving the budgets. And there's certainly different resources on both sides, on DPW and in transportation mobility. And plus, I've said this before.
The list is online. The list has been online the whole time. Oh my God.
So we can.
Can you please drop the
for
link
success
in the comments here?
department. So I'll look forward to the manager's report, and I hope he'll take into consideration the opportunity to let the council weigh in on the delineation between the responsibilities of both departments.
These
Thank you.
people are so pathetic.
Basul?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, I will say I'm on Public Works, and it was a little confusing last year, which is fine. I understand, there's a history to this and everything else, and I meet with DTM once a month, and they always fill me in on things, and I meet with DPW once a month with Commissioner Moylan or previous him, Commissioner Fink, just to make sure I could stay in the loop on this. But there are definitely times where I'm not sure who's in charge of what, so I'm very excited to hear that we can have a clearly defined list of who to call with what problems. Through you to the city manager or Commissioner Raleigh, how much does $120,000 get you in sidewalks, footage-wise?
Mr. Manager?
Yeah, I'll
Mr.
let
Rowland?
the commissioner answer this.
Commissioner?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the council, I'm not going to give you an exact number on that, but it's not a lot, candidly. The costs, as we've discussed or heard discussion tonight, costs have increased significantly. So 120,000 doesn't buy a whole lot of sidewalk. And when we report back, we can give you the details on typical unit costs per square yard of sidewalk.
Yeah, I was just curious. And through the chair to the city manager or Commissioner Raleigh, even when the district counselor gets their picks, like we have our pick, and that's one of the perks of being a district counselor, the city can still pick other sidewalks and you can still do other streets. These aren't the only streets and sidewalks that are getting done. You have oversight.
Mr. Raleigh?
Through the chair, so that's correct. Both recently and historically, the Department of Public Works has implemented a set of projects that were picked by district councilors. That's the local street resurfacing projects and the sidewalk projects. And they have also additionally done other projects that they've selected. They tend to be more focused on collector and arterial roads, but they're not limited to those roadways.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you. I know everyone works really hard, and I know DPW, we're waiting on a commissioner, so it's a little tricky right now, but thank you so much for the clarification. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Manager?
I will be making an announcement soon on the commissioner. I know everybody's been waiting on that. So we just got confirmation on that today, so I'll make an announcement soon. But I do want to give the commissioner, if he had any point of clarification that I might step out of line in terms of the resurfacing, sidewalk, if there's anything that you wanted to add that I might have missed.
Commissioner?
Through the chair, I don't really have anything to add. The city manager, I think, did a comprehensive job of explaining what we are working towards in terms of the pavement management program. As he indicated, we have been working over the last year to develop a new pavement management system, and we're looking forward to meeting with the council to describe that when that work's finished. And so there's a lot of information to come on that.
What's that? So motion is to file.
Mr. Chair,
Councilor Alita first.
So I just want to make sure that I have a really good understanding on when it comes to district councilors and the sidewalks that are presented to us by our residents. Is that fair to say that we'll still be able to address those sidewalks, and those would be the ones that we'll be able to talk to? I guess my concern is, who are we going to be speaking with exactly? Is it DPW or is it DTM? To the chair.
To the chair, to the council. Right now is DTM, and we're going to present to you a delineation of those responsibilities, so you know, clarified of what this process would be, who you go to, and what you expect in terms of return. Again, a lot of this was discussed with the departments. I think in terms of practice, things did not work the way they should have. And so we want to clarify them, clean them up, and ensure that the departments, both departments, understand their roles and responsibilities when it comes to the resurfacing program. Because again, the resurfacing program, you can't just point fingers at the DTM or just at DPW. It's a joint venture between both of them, and so there's responsibilities on the program that are on both sides. And so that's where we're going to try to, but right now, if there's any requests related to streets or sidewalks or what have you, I would recommend to go to the Commissioner Raleigh this morning.
Okay, and thank you. And then, you know, where Councilor King and I have been working with the residents on Endicott and Bigelow. I know there's going to be some transformation of that street, that area as well. So I think things like this are important as far as getting the information out to the residents. We really have to start thinking outside the box. We've attended several meetings, and Councilor King can attest to this. Maybe 3 or 4 residents are showing up to these meetings, and maybe they're just not being notified. But definitely, they're reaching out to us, so I just find it interesting. And on that end, you know, for us to be able to support them, who do we really need to speak to, and then getting that information out. I know I've spoken with Mr. Odell, and he has agreed that some of this information is important for residents to get out, and we need to do a better job. So it helps us as counselors and at-large counselors to get this information out to residents, and also being able for them to understand. There's many residents here, obviously, opposing this, and rightfully so, based on what they're reading, and probably really not understanding when it comes to district councils what we're trying to do to support them in their neighborhoods. So I just want to make sure that
This is so stupid. I can barely focus on
it. I think a lot of it then needs to get back to the councils to make sure our residents understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Hajia.
Sorry, Commissioner Rowley, if you wouldn't mind, through the city, through you, Chair, to Commissioner Rowley, could you, for clarification for any colleagues here who thinks that I may have misstated my facts, could you explain to us, please, the process whereby you approached every city district councilor to talk to us about sidewalks and street resurfacing? I'm not talking about the list, I'm just talking about the process.
Commissioner?
Through the chair, so DTM first became involved in the resurfacing program essentially October of 2023, so the last cycle of selections. At that time, we took ownership of the existing resurfacing and sidewalk lists from DPW, updated the pavement condition, updated the costs, and then initially started with a truncated list that selected the roadways that were in the worst condition and sent those to each of the district councilors for conversation. We received some feedback from some district councilors that they believe some information was missing or that information was different. That started an investigation on our end, and I know the city council councilors also worked with the city clerks, and we realized that for a period of time extending prior to our department's existence, for an undetermined period of time, that list had not been kept up the way it should be. So we had to start a process to rebuild that list. And that's what ended up dragging that process out for about, I want to say, 7 months last year. So we did send the information out to all 5 district councilors. I had conversations, I believe, with all 5. I should state that at that time, for District 1 and District 4, pardon me, the District 1 and District 4, the prior counselors were responsible for those selections, but we did have a follow-up conversation with those counselors to apprise them of their selections.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Rowley, because I do remember that the conversations that we had back and forth had, there was some, also by watching some of the public meetings, that there was some questions around the list. I do take offense at any insinuation that somehow I am not describing the process of how the conversations that are public record, by the way, where I have described my own reasoning and the back and forth between the clerk, the city clerk, the assistant city clerk, making sure that they're giving us this list, that is this true, this is what you're saying. All I am saying in my statements is that the process of selecting the 2-year program of the streets and sidewalks, we have had conversations, you've had conversations with all district councilors except for 4 and 1, because the previous counselor had those made the picks. So I through you, Chair, to Councilor Toomey, perhaps this isn't very satisfactory to you. Happy to, maybe you should sit down with these folks and they can talk to you about, but I just want to make sure for the public to understand that those of us who have the same intent as every district councilor to work hard for our streets and sidewalks have had those conversations with the commissioner and his team.
Thank you. Councilmember Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to rise again and say how much I appreciate the administration saying what has gone on has not been appropriate. At the end of the day, the process has not worked. And maybe some think that what they handed us was what we should have had. The reason that we're here tonight is because of the fact that the data that they had collected was not the data that was already sitting in DPW. So there has been an ongoing list of streets, as you are well aware, Mr. Chairman, that whether it's from my predecessor, from anybody's predecessor, there is a list of streets that's there. So while DTM may have come up with a list of their own, which I understand, it was not the list that we should have been working on, because there is a history and it's clearly documented. I think we're all well aware of this documentation. Council Russell has been on Public Works, I believe, since he got elected. I've been on Public Works since I've been elected. And I'm here to say to you tonight, thank you to the city manager who said tonight that the process was flawed. So for us to sit here tonight and pretend that the list has been fine and we had the opportunity to choose, well, if we had the opportunity to choose and everything's so great, why the heck are we saying we got 4 years worth of sidewalks that he's willing to do?
Council Russell.
Kenny's losing it.
Mr. Chairman, just for the public's knowledge, I just want to refresh the community's review. This process that we've had long before I got here was where mostly citizens, residents, sometimes business owners, petition and say they want their street resurfaced or they want their sidewalk resurfaced. They go to the Public Works, they come first here, it's sent to Public Works. Public Works has a committee meeting, routinely invites people in, and we almost always put those streets on a list. And then once a year, we look to the administration, whoever the administration chooses at different times, whether it's been Public Works years ago or now Department of Transportation. And they provided the district councilors with a list. It's usually a lot more than what we can afford. It's probably sometimes 10 times what we could have for funding or more. But they rate it, the Public Works Department used to, and the DTM does.
Sounds like a
does
bad
the same
system,
thing.
George.
They rate that list, they rate those streets, they put a number on it. Is it in good condition or bad condition? And then councilors like myself go take a look at the streets, and sometimes they say, you know what? I had it, one of the first ones I did was on Dorchester Street, where somebody petitioned to put all new sidewalks on Dorchester Street. And God rest her soul, Laurie, who walked Dorchester Street every day, said to me, oh no, you don't have to do this, only do this block, do that block, and we broke it down. That's why it goes back to the district councils, to get it down to the community level. And that's where the decisions are made. So, and through you, Mr. Chairman, to the manager and to Mr. Raleigh, correct me if I'm wrong, but these choices that we're talking about, they're not designs. We're not redesigning these sidewalks. We're not redesigning these little side streets. They're not, you know, some kind of a super plan. It's just talking about fixing potholes and resurfacing them, making them new again. So that's the situation here. I just want to make sure that that's what the public understands. That's the process, and that's where it's got lost in the shuffle. And I trust that the manager will correct it and has corrected it, and I move the motion to file.
Okay. Council King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too would like to move this item forward on the motion that's on the floor. Well, I will say, this is giving me a little bit of brain fog, to be honest with you. And I think for the public's purposes, this for me is very simple. My motions are solution focused, and I'll take a couple of words that the manager always likes to say. Increasing efficiencies, improving efficiencies, right? We hear that all the time. And that's what this is about. This is about us making sure that we're doing exactly that. And I think that my motions will help us through this process, Mr. Chairman. As an at-large city councilor, I always enjoy partnering with my district councilors winning community. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion to file, plus the motions, we take those collectively. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio? Council Calorio? Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson?
Yes.
Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Ojeda? Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. I've been asked to take a couple of them out of order if you want. It's 15A and 15B from the auditor, communications of the city auditor. First one is the auditor transmitting information, communication, detailing the inventory of electric and other motor vehicles, as well as similar equipment such as construction equipment and trucks, as of November 30th, 2024.
Oh, boy.
Maintaining the workday and validated through department fleet maintenance records and manual confirmations.
What
in
a
May
waste of
2024.
everyone's life.
You can send that
What
to
a waste
Mo.
of everyone's life we do every
Probably doing
week.
so.
That's awesome.
Chairman, just for you to the administration, what are we doing with the car that the manager had?
Mr. Manager?
Through the chair to the council, we are going to be transitioning that to potentially a department head that right now may need a vehicle.
Okay, so send that to MO, roll call. I mean, Public Works, send it to Public Works, roll call.
Mr. Chairman, is this going to MOO?
No, Public Works.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson?
Yes.
Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Ojeda? Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, city auditor transmitting information communication for all city vehicles acquired since 2022 for the period July 1st, 2021 through November 30th, 2024. Send that to Public Works.
15B?
Yeah, 15B.
Shouldn't that go to municipal
Yeah, that
operations?
one
That's
should
for
be-
all departments.
I'm going to agree with that one, yep. MO, roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Ojeda? Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey? Mayor Petty.
Yes. Okay. We are on 614D. Auditor City Councilor George Russell requests the city manager provide city council with information in a timely manner regarding Massasoit Road. That includes but not limited to the status of resurfacing plans on the road, current funding status, proposed changes for the project, if any, name of contractor, value of the project, extent of work, where and to where, and a detailed description of the work, schedule of the work, when it will be start and end, and resident engineer for the project or contact person should the butters or motorists have questions or issues. Council Russell.
Chairman, as it reads to the administration with the hopes that a report will come back quickly.
Okay, roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia? Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Ojeda? Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. We are on 14E. Request of the city manager work with the Veteran Services Department Officer Director to ensure recognition is provided to the Worcester residents who complete boot camp and/or basic training. Councilor Christian King?
As it reads.
Oh, okay, roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia? Council King?
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson? Council Nguyen? Council
Yes.
Ojeda? Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Request city manager requests Commissioner of Transportation Mobility review the feasibility of turning the intersection of Merrick Street and Pleasant Street into a cool pocket location during the redesign to narrow the intersection. Councilor Ojeda?
There are many intersections throughout the city that are very different. They're very large. The crosswalks have to be pretty long. The one that I'm referencing is Pleasant Street and Merrick Street. That one has an opportunity in talking with Commissioner Raleigh about a cool pocket or probably better known as a pocket park And what that encompasses is an opportunity to have maybe some low-level trees, some flower beds, but also provides an opportunity for residents to have relaxation areas, especially in that area where there's a lot of businesses, eateries there, where residents can come outside, probably enjoy a meal outside during the nice weathers. It creates more of a calm atmosphere. I think in that neighborhood, it would be very beneficial. But also we can use it as an opportunity to be a pilot throughout the city. There are many small areas throughout the city. I know Chandler Street is working on some type of redesign, but also right there at the corner of Maurice and Chandler, there's a little park per se, whatever you want to call it. There's an opportunity there. I think in a lot of the urban areas, there's not many green spaces for parents to, hang out or chill out with their kids, or the kids just to hang out in neighborhoods, grab an ice cream, hang out.
In order for the city to do anything innovative,
So I'm really interested in seeing if we can.
like
make
I
this
love
work.
the idea
I love this idea.
of a municipally supported grocery store. I think that's great.
Again, it could be a
You
pilot
got
that we
6
can
people,
continue on throughout the
just
city.
6
This is really good
petty
ideas for us
assholes
to be able to
standing
use this
in
space.
the way of even being able to remotely consider.
Sign on, Council King, like to sign on?
Council Bergman,
Yes.
Council Gloria,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Yes.
Council King,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
Council Nguyen,
Yes.
Council Ojeda, Council Pasillo,
Yes.
Council Russell,
Yes.
Council Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes. Request the city to provide the council with an update concerning the previously
Mr. Chairman, can we take, point of order, can we take 4G and H concurrently?
14G and H.
Yeah.
We'll take them together.
Yes, please.
Council King. Request the city manager provide council with an update concerning previously adopted.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about that.
It reads as follows.
Hey, he's
Request manager,
back.
Police chief provide
I
council
had
with a
an
road.
impromptu
Creating a civil review
hot dog
board
safari
with
call.
power to investigate allegations of law enforcement wrongdoing.
Big things are afoot.
Information relative to the best practices used in
That's so sick.
communities who
Nothing you can say
have
public
implemented
about
such
it.
as boards of commission.
Nothing yet. I
Request
can't
manager provide
say
council
much
with
yet, but
Can't
stay
divulge
tuned.
any secrets.
Make sure you're following
Follows
the Hot Dog
request
Safari
the
on
manager provide
Instagram.
council with a report concerning the police department's field interrogation
Well,
observation
Brian, you
data.
missed them talk
Further
about
request the manager includes
sidewalks
said report
for
all
like
information
pretty much
said
a straight hour
topics
and then just file it.
from January 2019.
Incredible.
to
I was
December
trying to
2019.
watch,
Further
trying to pay
request the manager
attention to
include
the
said information on the city's website.
the
Further request the
closed
manager provide
captioning,
council with
and
said
I could not
information
believe how
on
long it was going
annual
on.
basis. Further
Yeah, it
request
was
the city
crazy.
manager
Candy
includes
lost
a
her shit
report,
for a little bit.
information relative to the units that are not required to provide said information.
That was the only
to
highlight. She
police
got a little
department.
pissy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Interestingly, though, the
you know,
mayor
we're
didn't
looking
say
for
that she was
an actual
threatening
report
him.
to come out.
Wonder why.
This certainly came under a previous administration. However, our current city manager was tasked and involved with both of these matters that never found their way to the council floor, Mr. Chairman. On 14H, I'd like to amend that to read from 2019 till present, where it says on said topics, Mr. Chairman, and I would like those reports when they come back.
Oh,
to
also,
go
were you here
to,
for when Chu said
Public
that
Safety
some of the
Committee,
counselors
or
have
to
been
the
calling
larger
them
committee.
it?
Yes,
that
I
the-
did. That was one of the
the,
last things I saw. Absolutely,
Yeah,
as
unbelievable.
that was kind of a crazy
police matters once they come
detail to drop in. I'm thinking about a records request for like emails that
we'll take
include
those, some of the manager as
to
amended.
and
Roll call.
Council Bergman?
and
Yes.
it.
Council Gloria,
Yes.
Council Haji,
Something like that. See if we can
Council
get
King,
back.
Yes.
Councilmember
Unbelievable.
Carlson, Council Nguyen,
Because that would just be
Yes.
like a
Council
gift
Ojeda.
if Kenny Mo Carlson just has that somewhere.
Yeah.
But not for public safety or until after?
When it comes back, hopefully.
Yeah, we're developing the
Yes.
Council Russell,
the first ever foot long
Toomey.
hot dog.
and Mayor Petty.
Yes.
That's gonna really
Request the manager work with the cultural
change some
development
hearts
officer
and
to provide
minds.
council with a report
Yeah.
detailing any
Yeah.
efforts made to restore First Night Worcester since First Night
Here's the
Worcester.
thing.
This came
We're
in
not
operation
changing the
since
size of the bun.
2017. The report will include exploration of ways for similar events can be brought back to the city.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a feel-good order. I think that the entire council
Yeah, the
can
entire
get
council was
behind,
like, "Yoink!"
hoping that this
I'm on
moves
record doing
forward.
that a
They're trying to
bunch of
remember
times.
which one. Yeah, they were trying to remember if
I
they're
think
the one that said
last
it.
date of this was maybe 2016 or 2017. And I have fond memories of going down in front of the auditorium steps with my daughter, who's now an adult, my parents who are no longer with us, and other family members, Mr. Chairman. This is an event that drew thousands of people to Worcester. we have certainly as a community and as a city become ever increasingly known statewide, regionally, and nationally, Mr.
I like how that
Chairman.
neo-Nazi that just got
The one
outed,
thing that
like the
First
posts
Night
that
did was
the
bring communities
anti-fascist
together.
organizers
Folks from all
found that he was
different
making were
social
like
and economic
not
income,
too
different
far away from
faiths,
anything posted on
different
Seven Hills Political Dialogue.
ethnicities and
It's like
races
they're
and
basically the
genders
same
and
thing.
identities.
And he had a Mo
And
Bergman
we've had
sign in
some
his window.
great events here,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Mo Bergman
One
might
of
be his
the
landlord.
number one events is the Summer
There's a
Classic
hat tip to
basketball,
Troubler for pointing that out to me on
that
social
goes
media.
on over at Crompton Park through American Pyramids and the folks that run that. We have the Arts, what is it over there on Park Ave that just ended, Start on the Street. We have that also, that in the wintertime. We have the Caribbean Festival. We have all sorts of parades. We have the Italian parade. We have
No, don't mention
St.
that in the
Patrick's
same
Day
breath,
parade.
Christian. Come on.
Opportunities to bring folks together. And I can tell you that since 2017, 2018, me and my family
We have the
gone
Luigi
outside the city
Mangione parade.
to celebrate every single year this particular first night.
I'd go to that.
And most of the time,
I go to the Luigi Mangione parade.
now,
for sure.
when first night Worcester
Get an Italian horn
ended,
and
we were the second
really
longest
do it up.
running first night continuously in the entire
Italian
nation,
horn.
Mr. Chairman. Second to Boston only.
I bring some pizzazz.
At that time, we had a lot of folks that coordinated, arranged, that were on the committee, that raised money, that sold the buttons, and that made sure they were intersecting with the business folks, the city folks, and the community to keep that going. There are reports that upwards of 70,000 folks used to come through the city of Worcester. And interestingly enough, one of the major selling points for me is they paid their artists. They paid their vendors, Mr. Chairman. But it was an exhaustive process. Folks got fatigued, and it ended. We had a number of well-known participants in that, Mr. Chairman. And when they discontinued, Mr. Chairman, we know it wasn't because it was a failed experience. It reminds me of, when you talk about Tuckerman's Hall, you talk about Mechanics Hall, Hanover, Lutheran Church, some of the other locations where folks were performing. We know that folks from around Central Mass came, and there was an economic impact, Mr. Chairman. Our business,
Mr. Chairman.
WRTA
Mr.
providing
Chairman.
trolley
Mr. Chairman.
service up and down Main Street, Mr. Chairman. And I think when this ended, there was a plan back then by folks to continue it on some level. Mr. Chairman, once again this year,
Mr. Chairman.
my family and I had to go out of town to experience a new year in a different community. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and go to work with the Cultural Division, with anybody in this elected body that wants to be a part of that in the community to bring this back. I can't tell you, there's been a deluge of folks reaching out to me, begging for this to come back, Mr. Chairman.
It's a bummer. It was really fun when I was a kid.
The cultural aspect of this is huge. It's a showcase for us. It's a showcase for Central Mass, Mr. Chairman, and would really love to have, once again, the volunteer, the business sponsorships, the community sponsorships.
It's
reaching
first
out to
zone now.
the restaurants, and of course, all the talented people here, Mr. Chairman. It's certainly not simple work, but I think the most important aspect in its simplicity is let's get this going again, Mr. Chairman. This is a worthy endeavor, and I look forward to moving this forward and roll up my sleeves and going to work with everyone. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Russell.
Mr. Chairman, my friend and colleague, Councilor King, is slipping. He used to be all the time right on it, but I'm going to suggest a friendly amendment to the item that he has. Discover Central Mass. $500,000 of this city's budget that goes to them, and usually Councilor King is the one that picks up on that and always is the one that says it. That's why I'm saying he's
All right.
slipping.
On
He-
this,
he
me and
didn't say
George
it
Russell
today,
are in
but
lockstep
I would
alignment.
like an amendment to.
What does
engage
the Discover Central Mass
Mass
money
for
go
the,
to?
For this project.
Building you can't go into.
Mr. Chairman, I
What
accept the
building?
friendly amendment.
They have that
will
welcome
say
center
also,
down
like,
on
as we move forward,
146.
Really looking into that funding
That-
mechanism.
Oh my
I
God!
think this-
Those lights in the walkway. Yeah.
actually
That's
supposed to be an
them?
event. It's supposed to be an event
so much
space.
for this city.
It's not.
I've
used.
never
the
seen
surrounding
anything get
towns.
held there.
And that $500,000 might be used in other
I don't think. I think it's
including
closed up.
on programs like this. I appreciate the councilman for that. Thank you.
Okay, so as a
Yeah, we thought about trying to get them to let us put shows there.
Councilor Calorio?
And they were like, "No, this is fake."
Yeah, this is
Yes.
some sort of a grift. We can't figure it out ourselves.
Yes.
But it's definitely shady.
Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey? Mayor Petty?
Yes, request manager, request police chief provide city council with a report concerning the plans to enforce instances where drivers unlawfully pass a school bus while it is stopped and its stop sign is displayed using newly legalized school bus traffic cameras.
Yeah.
Council Hygiai, Council Pasillo, Council Member Carlson, Council Bergman.
As it is.
Roll call.
Yeah, you go see some old Toby Boland stuff. What's going on with these mics?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Do we
Really
need to
bad
get on the Muni bid and buy some city council audio equipment?
They should just let us host their meetings. I think.
Yeah, Ben. Yeah, down by Walmart.
Yeah. Just on the
This
other
is
side
great.
of the street.
I love not hearing Kate Toomey.
Yeah.
It's actually really special.
It's kind of freeing. We should keep it. Beck,
Yeah.
if you're listening, just keep this
Beck,
like this.
feel free.
Yeah,
Play like moody music while she's
hold
talking,
on
so we
just
can just kind of like vibe for a little. Play some explosions in the sky.
Yeah, baby. Friday Night Lights,
So just take
baby.
this item. We'll get to yours. Let's
Clear
do this
eyes,
item,
full
then we'll
hearts
get to
can't
yours.
hear you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in
Explosions in the
support
Sky
of
just did the
of
soundtrack for
getting a
American
report
Primeval.
back. Mr. Chairman.
I've yet
I'm
to watch
hoping
it,
that this
but it seems
goes
like it's pretty
to
good.
Our Committee on
Yeah, I
Education.
gotta watch
We work
that.
closely with the schools. Once it returns, Mr.
I
Chairman.
like
know
Explosions in the
that,
Sky.
Yeah, they're good.
There's a lot of safety concerns.
The
out
Earth is
there.
not a cold, dead
You know,
place.
I've called for an audit.
My college
of the
roommate used to
signs,
put it on
the
to fall
signage that have
asleep.
Yet to come forward.
Yeah, I just have fucking insane
As
dreams.
it relates to signs, school signs,
Epic
school zone
dreams.
signs.
Yeah.
in
This great
terms of
evil.
Where they should
Where's
be,
it come
where
from?
they are, and where they will be. So I want to reiterate.
I have
the
not
request
watched
for
Pistachio
that
Wars yet,
information,
but
Mr.
I
Chairman,
am
but
planning
this-
on it.
looking
It's actually
forward
in my
as
notes.
being a member of the Education Committee to get
I
this
listened to
report
that
back.
Chapo interview today with the
Councilor Bergman?
writers and
Calorio?
directors.
Yes.
Councilor
And
GI?
it's absolutely
Councilor
nuts,
King?
that
Yes.
stuff about
Councilor
California
Carlson?
pistachios,
Councilor Nguyen?
Iran,
Yes.
Councilor Hayda has
and
recused
that
himself from
family.
the vote. Councilor
That's
Pasillo?
like
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Heritage
Yes.
Foundation
Councilor Toomey?
people. Pretty
Mayor
nuts.
Petty?
Yes.
I gotta check that out. There's a dollop
Request
episode
that the
about
manager
it.
provide
Of
council with a
that.
report summarizing
Yeah.
the city's partnership for the YMCA to hire staff city beaches and
Yeah,
pools
the
with
through
lifeguards
line
for 2024.
between
For request of report
the
includes
LA fires
information
and our
relative to
Middle
city's
East
plans for
involvement
staff and
is pretty
beaches
significant,
and 20
actually.
pools in 2025.
It's
Council
not
Pasillo.
just,
As it
you know,
reads.
in the
Roll call.
ambient. It's actually pretty fucking direct.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor GI? Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Hayda? Councilor Pasillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Next item is in light of the tragic events in New Orleans, Louisiana, New Year's Day, and their interest in public
so
safety.
glad we
request
can't
the
hear
manager
Kate
perform a
for this one.
security audit similar to the one recently done by City Hall that includes recommendations for crowd and vehicle control to be used at the
Oh, that's fun.
multitude of large public events in Worcester, including alternate solutions for
Yeah.
closing access to streets. Council Toomey.
As it reads.
Council King.
I've got a quick question to the chair, to the administration. Currently,
The wonderful
I know
company.
There's perhaps some street closings as relates to the fireworks.
Yeah,
perhaps
their
on
entire
the
business
side
operation
roads.
is
I can't call it changes.
Made possible
And
by
additionally,
trade
with some of the
embargoes,
other
long-standing trade
larger events.
embargoes
Could you
on
speak with
Iran.
before we get the report?
And
back
they
regarding,
send a lot of money
how
to the
that-
Israeli
that
government.
works.
So,
Mr. Manager?
Party.
and
Through
also
the chair to
own
the
like
council,
all of
every
California's water.
organization
That's great.
that is
Yes.
planning an event, a large event.
I mean, that's
that
what it
requires
that's what the
closing
fires.
streets
I mean,
are required to submit a
not
safety
the
plan and road
the
closure, as
like
part of
the
road
start of
closure
the
permits.
fire, but
And so
the
they
fact
are
that it
required to
has
submit that
not
safety plan, which
quite
engages the police
ended
department,
can be chalked up
EMS,
to
Yeah.
and sometimes even
private
fire
ownership
department,
of
depending
water in California. I mean,
Thank you very much,
all
Mr.
fucking
Chairman.
Chinatown,
I
baby.
think a lot of this.
Hey,
is
look
what
who
we
you
already
Hey, what's
heard.
up?
I'm not going to.
Whoa, your sound sounds so weird. You sound like a robot. Is your
Yeah.
sound effect on? Press one of the yellow buttons on your soundboard.
Sounds like you're talking through a mooger fooger.
Yeah, I got nothing going on here.
If there's any,
Are you hooked up through your soundboard?
will result.
Oh my god, it sounds so crazy. Sounds
Brendan
like you're
just got back from the ring modulator convention, and he's really excited to show off his new effect pedal.
Sort of increase.
I wish.
Requirements for.
You sound like an assassin droid.
And in
Yeah.
addition to that, Mr. Chairman, what we want.
You sound
to make
like
sure that
evil
we're not doing
C-3PO.
while we're ensuring public safety is pricing people out.
Yeah, say the target is on
I just want to
Alderaan.
be clear on the record for that. And I'm asking the city manager to be sensitive. When
that's
come
fun.
back and look forward to the report. But I do have a bit of trepidation as it relates to this.
Well, Brendan,
particular
you missed them
matter.
talk about
And
sidewalks
Dallas
for
questions will be
an
answered.
hour.
Oh, thank goodness.
So we're back
And then
to
they
regular
followed up
council
Send that
business.
To the manager, roll call.
Council
They
Bergman.
talked about it for an hour
Council
to no
Calorio.
avail.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they just filed the
Council
item.
King.
Yes.
Councilmember
They
Carlson.
just wanted to
Councilman
complain
Yan.
Yes.
about
Council Ojeda.
why the sidewalks they
Basillo.
picked
Yes.
haven't been
Council
repaved
Russell.
yet.
Yes.
Council Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, request the manager, request the Commissioner of Public Works and Parks work with the appropriate parties to ensure the telephone pole on the corner of Plantation and Emerson Street is secured. Roll call.
Council Bergman. Council Calorio.
Yes.
Council Agia. Council King.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson. Council Nguyen.
Yes.
Council Ojeda. Council Basillo.
Yes.
Council Russell.
Yes.
Council Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, request the manager provide council with a report outlining analytic intelligence software that is available to shorten the amount of time required to review video footage for traffic violations, including any potential new footage created from school bus traffic cameras. Councilor Toomey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This certainly is.
I
to,
promised my
assist
constituents
in,
that their sidewalk would
safety
be
and
repaired
making
in
sure
exchange
that,
for their vote, and their
uh,
sidewalk has not been
there's a ton
repaired.
of software that's out there that would
What
be
else do I have to
beneficial,
offer?
As has been mentioned by a citizen, to reducing the time
Boo, we can hear
necessary
Kate
for an
again.
individual
Boo.
to be
Sucks.
going through video, et cetera. And I think that this is going to be a very helpful tool for our police department to be doing this, and will certainly can aid, until they get cameras, can certainly aid in identifying those folks who are violating, by passing school buses. So, thank you.
Yes, and that's the manager. Roll call.
Council Bergman. Council Calorio.
Yes.
Council
Brendan had to
Agia.
go stealth.
Council King.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson.
Corey is in
Council
step.
Nguyen.
Yes.
Council Ojeda has recused himself. Council Basillo.
Yes.
Council Russell.
Yes.
Council Toomey.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, 17A to 17M, motion is accepted to adopt. Roll call.
Council Bergman. Council Calorio.
Yes.
Council Agia.
Yes.
Council King.
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson. Council Nguyen.
Yes.
Council Ojeda.
Oh, I just got back
Basillo.
Yes.
from my
Council Russell.
TSA
Yes.
job
Council
at
Toomey.
Worcester Regional
Mayor
Airport,
Petty.
and
Yes.
I haven't had the
17.
I haven't had the chance to take it off yet.
17O, 18A, 18F is accepted to adopt.
Mr. Chairman, can we take out 18O?
Oh, that's what I should go work at the airport.
18O?
Yes, please.
It's for going like
We're not
this.
there yet, so we'll just do those
Oh, I
first.
thought you called it, okay.
Okay. So it's 17N, 17.
They're telling people to turn their
Motion
head
to
and
accept.
cough.
And
Yeah.
18A to 18F, motion accepted to adopt.
So they know I mean business.
So those together, roll call.
Council Bergman. Council Calorio.
Yes.
Council Agia.
Yes.
Council King.
My skin on my
Councilor
hand gets
Carlson?
dry and cracked
Councilor
in the
Nguyen?
winter sometimes,
Yes.
and the most
Councilor
effective
Ito?
thing to do is put
Councilor
Boudreaux's
Patillo?
butt
Councilor
paste
Russell?
on it.
Councilor Toomey?
But
Mayor
if
Petty?
you
So we'll take
leave that
18G to 18AA
uncovered,
minus 18O.
you get butt paste
Roll
all
call.
over all your clothes and shit. So
Councilor Bergman? Councilor
Wow.
Calorio?
Yes.
So it really
Councilor
is
GA?
like of mice and
Councilor
men.
King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
The bad guy in
Councilor
of mice and
Nguyen?
men.
Yes.
Councilor Ito? Councilor Patillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
He put the glove
Toomey?
on to keep his hands
Mayor Petty?
soft.
Yes.
Yes.
18.
You're curly from of mice and men.
I need to make sure my hands soft
So
for
18O
all
is the
the
installation
shakes
of a
that
highly
I do
densely activated
in my various
crosswalk at
dealings.
the median vicinity of 570 Lincoln Street and 591 Boylston Street.
One time, Dan
Chairman, I
Rascott
actually
had
take
the
this
funniest put down
opportunity,
of a fellow member
to
of City
request,
Hall.
from the city manager.
He was like talking shit about him, and he
report
goes, "Softest
regarding,
hands, though.
what
Softest
we
hands you'll
have
ever feel."
Citywide with
Damn.
installation of high-intensity activated crosswalks, Mr. Chairman, which is a solution that's vetted, that works. They go by a different name now than Hawk, but these are safety parameters for vulnerable road users that are readily applied, and research shows that it improves that safety on places like Route 9, where there's multiple lanes, Belmont Street, Lake Ave, et cetera. And I know there's been discussions about different locations.
Yeah, you
for
gotta
these
fucking
systems, Mr. Chairman.
book it through 'em.
So it sounds like it's coming out piecemeal, but I'd like an overall report back on that, so we can have an idea of those sorts of technologies that we're using on those sort of roadways in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. So as amended, roll call.
Councilor Bergman? Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor GA?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ito? Councilor Patillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. We're on 19A, is motion to accept and adopt. 19B to 19D, motions to accept. And 20A is ordained on the roll call. I'll take those collectively, roll call.
Councilor Bergman? Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor
Oh, we're
GA?
getting so close to the
Councilor King?
end.
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Still
Councilor
3
Nguyen?
hours, though.
Yes.
Councilor Ito?
Yeah.
3 hours to get
Patillo?
through an agenda of
Councilor
little
Russell?
to no
Councilor
consequence.
Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
And not do anything.
Yes.
We're back.
We have
We're so back.
21, which was held under privilege, which is on Richard Cipro, Anthony Petroni, and Tom McDuffie, on behalf of the National Brotherhood of Police Officials, Local 501 New England Benevolent Association, Local 911, request City Council, request City Manager, request that the Department of Justice release, present in the public forum, the full investigatory report, specifically to what the DOJ states are credible allegations of criminal sexual misconduct alleged to be committed by the members of the Worcester Police Department. Further request the City Council, request City Manager, request the Department of Justice include the dates, times, and names
What are
of
they gonna
individuals
do with
alleged
this
to have
one?
committed this stated misconduct or potential criminal activity.
Mr. Chair,
Do you want to take 21B together with that?
I'd like to file this since we met with the DOJ. They stated that they have submitted the full report. Therefore, this petition doesn't make sense anymore. So I'd like to make a motion to file.
First one is motion to file.
Is 21B, can I speak on that, or is taking it separately?
I guess we'll do them separately.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Joe
we
cannot
should do them
read.
together, because you would amend the other one.
Well, I'm going to amend that, B.
Okay. Are you going to amend it again?
Yes.
Okay. So, 21.
What is wrong with Joe tonight?
Motion to file, roll call.
He's kind of always like this.
Councilor Calorio?
Yeah, he just seems more like meek.
Hold on, I want to hear this
Yes.
vote.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ito? Councilor Patillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
No.
Councilor Toomey? And Mayor Petty?
No.
So the motion fails.
Mr. Chairman,
Wow.
Councilor Russell?
not all of us have met individually. I've got an upcoming meeting with the Department of Justice, so I think the proper place for this is to table it.
You want to table it? Okay. Until we all get a report back? Okay. Okay. Table?
What?
What's that?
I'm not filing it. I'm tabling it.
So everybody gets a report on it.
Good Lord.
Okay, so motion is the table. Roll call.
Council Bergman? Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
No.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Merrill Carlson? Council Nguyen?
No.
Council Ojeda? Council Pasillo?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes, that the City Council of the City of Worcester does hereby amend the petition brought forth by Rick Cipro, Anthony Petroni, Tommy Duffy on December 17, 2024, City Council to include the following language: further, that under no circumstances will the council
Brendan, we got you back.
anything to violate the confidentiality of people
Hey.
who report their experiences.
I think I sound normal now.
Thank you, Mr.
You
Chairman.
do.
It's on this,
Yeah.
To simply read, to detach it from.
Brendan, they
as
just
it's
they just
standing
voted
order.
to
Mr.
against
Chairman,
filing
read as follows,
the
under no
police union
circumstances will the city council do anything
the
to
police union's
support or violate
motion
the
to have the
confidentiality
DOJ
of
release the full
reported their
report.
experiences
Instead,
in the
George
DOJ
Russell
report
motioned to
without
table
their,
it, and then they voted
consent,
affirmatively to
Mr.
table it instead of
After the filing failed.
Yeah. So they're really making some significant moves on this right now.
Take away from 21A.
What is happening here?
Roll call.
It's
Council Bergman?
very crazy.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Agia?
Yes.
Council King?
Yes.
Council Merrill Carlson? Council Nguyen?
Yes.
The real
Council
question is,
Ojeda?
why did the new city solicitor
Pasillo?
want this job?
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yeah,
I don't know, but I'm applying to be assistant
City Council
city
of the City of
solicitor,
Worcester does hereby
so
support the
be
establishment
careful when you're
of
talking about my
shelter
boss like
dedicated
that.
to women.
Sorry,
Okay.
she's lovely.
Roll call. Council Russell.
I would just like to amend it to say that we.
I just can't wait to fall asleep in that big chair.
Information and numbers and need information, not that we just automatically ordering the manager to do this.
Mr. Chairman,
Well, maybe it's a
that's
separate
not what the
motion.
order says.
So,
So you can have a separate motion, Council Russell? on that? You just want to get some backup information?
well, that says that the city council and the city of Worcester do hereby support the establishment of a homeless shelter dedicated to women. I agree with that, but I'd like to know, number one, is there documented need? And number two, what would the cost be involved? That's all.
I'll accept the amendment, it's fine.
Okay, so collectively,
my God.
as amended, Council Ojeda?
It's quite obvious that there's been a documented need. We had several women here speaking to that, and I'm working with the city manager to identify, what resources there are. I think it's called Project Priceless. Forgive me if I said it wrong, but I'm in the works of working with them as well. So I think there's an obvious need, and I love the fact that.
Oh yeah, Ojeda's mic doesn't work tonight.
I'm in the, I guess, early stages.
I thought that was me.
How do we figure this out? But to say if there's a need, I get, we fall on data and numbers and all that stuff, but I think in our city right now.
The reporter
Going to
No, go ahead,
jail. No, sorry, I was just gonna say that they're sending him to jail.
sent him to jail for Mill Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reporter at the Goldfish table is Tony Kashi, and jury's out on that guy, as far as I'm concerned.
Fake Marco?
Mr. Mayor.
Fake Marco.
Council,
Can't flex.
Yeah, I'll be.
I
just-
think
I'll
that
be
guy
brief.
might be a little bit of a dickhead, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait
It's
for proof.
exasperating. It really just seriously is exasperating. If there is a need for a shelter for women, if there is a need, we're starting from questioning the need versus
Hell yeah.
jumping over hoops to say why we haven't had a women's shelter for decades when we've had people come here all the time, when we have publicly stated that we had to erect a women's shelter during COVID because women are unsafe. And when data and everybody in the world knows that women and children are one of the the biggest numbers that we have amongst homelessness. What is this?
Yeah, I heard his
if
coverage
there
of
is a need for women.
The second Palestine vote was pretty.
There's definitely a need.
Mr. Chairman.
Council.
Seems shitty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
He had some line in there. I didn't read the whole thing, but he had some line in there about how
to our community, understand questions are regarding the physical nature
like
of
questioning
this.
the citizenship of some of the people
If
who
there's
spoke,
if I could
who
just have through the
identify,
chair,
who like said they were
back
American
the
citizens or
amendment
something like that.
that was suggested
Yay.
Yeah.
by the councilor.
I think the message was that ask for the cost associated with the project and any documented needs that support the item. Councilor Russell?
Mr. Chairman, I will clarify that obviously there is a need. It's the level of need. What are we talking about? Are we talking about a large facility? Are we talking, that's all I'm looking for. I'm just not, I'm asking for the manager to come back with some recommendations.
Yeah, Trouble, that was
apologize for
crazy,
saying that there's
too.
a need. Obviously, there's a need. But it's a matter of where's the need? How is it put together? Is it, you know, that's all. I'm looking for.
So is the plan to maybe have this together for next
Mr.
winter?
Chairman, so I just want to
Ben?
be clear on this particular matter.
Yeah,
with
please.
the amendment.
Only if Paul Giorgio has another
If the
building to sell him.
amendment does not question the need for this, I'm okay with it. I've been here long enough to know how we get with some of the language, and I agree wholeheartedly with my colleagues with their exasperation, Mr. Chairman. So this should be an easy matter. Perhaps we decouple this and just have a separate motion for Councilor Russell. So I would say that if we can decouple it, have mine as a standalone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm happy to withdraw it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So withdraw it, so roll call. I'm sorry, Councilor Colorio?
That's okay. My question got answered. Thank you.
Okay. So on the motion itself, roll call.
Councilor Bergman? Councilor Colorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji? Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda? Councilor Basillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Request city manager work with the interim police chief and various Worcester Police Department union leadership to inform and educate all law enforcement officials regarding the facts outlined in the Department of Justice investigation of the Worcester Police
good
Department
fucking luck.
and the city of Worcester, Massachusetts.
As it reads.
Roll call.
Councilor Bergman? Councilor Colorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda? Councilor Basillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey? And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Request the manager work to provide city council with a thorough review of the summary of facts outlined in the Department of Justice investigation of the Worcester Police Department and the city of Worcester, Massachusetts. Councilor King?
Just reading the difference here. To the council. Sure. All I will say as it reads, other than would also like a time frame within which that'll be completed to be communicated. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the order, but a communication to the city council with regards to a timeline for that. In addition to that, Mr. Chairman, I would like a timeline as a separate order related to 21D, a timeline for within which that'll be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. So send that to the manager and also with the amendments. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman? Councilor Colorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda? Councilor Basillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey? Mayor Petty.
Yes, communications city manager, transmitting information, communication relative to private street maintenance, send that to Public Works.
Councilor Bergman? Councilor Colorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda? Councilor Basillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell? Councilor Toomey? And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Motion to adjourn. Roll call.
Yeah.
Wow.
Councilor Bergman? Councilor Colorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda? Councilor Basillo?
Yes.
Councilor Russell? Councilor Toomey? Mayor Petty.
Wowie zowie.
I'm glad I came.
What
Yeah, you really. Yeah, we love to see it being over. That's whenever you hear the counselors complain about how there's too much public comment for them to do their jobs, that is what they mean. They want to be able to bitch about individual sidewalk repairs not getting done.
Right. Yeah, when one of your fellow counselors talks about how they're dehumanized, misgendered, and don't feel safe entering the city council chambers, and you got nothing for that. And then
Just talk about sidewalks.
yeah,
It is pretty fucking smarmy that none of them acknowledge that. Like
again, because I think that a lot of them aren't sure if it was them or not, or think or know it was them
right
that did it.
I mean, to kind of smush time together a little bit, like they didn't acknowledge that, and then George Russell goes, are there women out there that might need a shelter? Can we prove it? Can we prove there's a need for a woman's shelter? Pretty fucking monstrous and gross. And then just like petty shit, like voting 6-5 to file against Tell's motion to file that shitty petition from the police union, just to table it by like an affirmative.
For dumb, like, because you haven't seen it yet, that doesn't mean it hasn't been released. The fucking CIPRO didn't ask for every city councilor to be able to read the report already.
Yeah.
They
It's
asked for it to
online,
be
brother.
released, and it was full, and the full report was released. So fuck off, I guess, you fucking assholes.
Yeah. Silly. Very silly.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
So, yeah, all in all, and again, you think it can't, you think they all can't just be this frustrating, and
then
the
you're
bastards
surprised.
keep showing us that it can be.
They find new ways. They find new ways to lay it on you.
Wonderful, just a wonderful. Had a wonderful time on the old Twitch farm tonight.
Can you walk me through real quick what they were trying to do with what the union was actually asking for?
Okay, so
I'm still confused by these requests that keep coming through, because it doesn't acknowledge that there's actually a process. And
the union thing that they're dealing with is the initial petition that the union filed like weeks ago. It just has been pushed back for 2 meetings. So this is the petition from Petroni, Cipro, and Vic Mackey, aka Thomas Duffy, to like basically release the names of the alleged victims. Like they want the full unredacted report released. That's what the council just finally took a vote on, because it got pushed back time and time again. So Attell motioned to file that because the DOJ said the report is the full report. So no need to have this on our plate anymore. Let's just file it. They vote 6-5 against Attell's motion to file it. George Russell stands up and goes, I haven't personally met with the DOJ yet. He said, I haven't had my personal meeting with the DOJ yet. I don't know if they're having personal individual meetings with every city councilor. I would imagine that they're not. But anyway,
I believe that they are. And just knowing how long those have been going on, it's kind of hilarious to me that nobody bothered calling George, because
yeah, it has been like a whole month.
Should have been like a month ago.
Yeah.
But I just want to cut in here for a second. I just want to address this, but while it's here, for the Coney sign, they use the facade improvement program that the city runs. I don't think that's ARPA money. I'm pretty sure that's a long-standing program, right, Brendan?
It is. Yeah, that's old HUD dollars.
Yeah. Just so we're all,
But yeah, so then George Russell said it would be more appropriate to table it, which is the exact same thing in Worcester, pretty much, except one stays on the agenda for 5 years and the other one goes away.
I mean, there's still tabled items from fucking Connie Luke's
right
on the agenda if you read deep enough.
Yeah, it's also hilarious that the most recent tabled item is Gordon Davis asking for Kate Toomey's subcommittee to look into systemic racism in the police department. And that was on the table before the DOJ report got released. So that's just fucking, it's still there. It's never coming off, which is just a fitting, like a piece of poetry, piece of found poetry about Worcester.
Part of me kind of wishes that they would let that they would let that order go through and make the request of the DOJ, just so the DOJ could say something snarky and embarrassing about the city of Worcester publicly. Like, that's not how investigations work, and police should know
Right.
that. So this
Yeah, but
is
they're
kind of
not-
the fucking
yeah.
problem, guys. Like,
Right.
this is what we're actually getting at here: is you have cops that don't know how copying works, and that's a
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there is some ARPA money in there. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they don't care about the answer from DOJ though. They care like the counselors don't. They care about the grandstanding part of it, which that's not new information.
You could always go ask the lawyer in the big chair if maybe they could weigh in on whether or not that's even something the DOJ could do. Like, it's to the point that's going to sit on the agenda is just so stupid.
Yeah.
It's a request that doesn't have a legitimate answer. They're not going to release names of victims of sex crimes to the public just because Anthony Petroni says so.
Yeah, it's insane. And if they do bring it back and vote in the affirmative, then yeah, we get Brendan's just egg on face scenario.
Yeah. Which at this point is kind of the best we can hope for, is just public edging.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. What else happened? Oh yeah, the city manager was explaining why you can't do anything about the kind of constables the city hires. Even if they're like on video harassing and even actually maybe like molesting tenants and homeowners that are being foreclosed on. That it's just not it's not something that the city council has say on one way or another. That's actually Joe Petty cut the mic on Grace Ross, which is I guess a new thing that they're doing.
Didn't do it to anybody else.
Didn't do it to anybody else. Grace Ross was at maybe 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Like, if we're being generous, he cuts the mic on her, like as she's calmly explaining that the guy that they're about to take a vote to appoint is involved in all manner of criminal and otherwise shady enterprises. But we can't do anything about it because the city manager said so. So that's actually my next call as soon as we hang up here. Is I want to get the report that Grace mentioned. She was like, I have a report on this guy that is ready to go. I will happily provide it to any city councilor who wants one. And I'm going to get that. So I'll probably end up writing about that this week.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the big things tonight.
What else?
Can't think of anything else.
Yeah. Candy had a nice little freak out during the sidewalk thing. I have to go. She got very cranky. Because the customer service representative on the other line wasn't making her feel whole, you know. It's something you'd be likely to see at the Lincoln Street Target.
Karen Merrill Carlson.
Karen Merrill Carlson's pretty good.
We're also gonna make t-shirts that say cowards on them.
Yes.
I think too. So those are the big events tonight. Yeah, I think we're good leaving it there for the evening, everybody.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. Thanks once again to Ben White for resubscribing.
Thank you, Ben.
We hugely appreciate that, dude. Thank you so much. We appreciate all you guys for tuning in every week. We love to hang out with you guys. Please make sure that you're subscribed to billshaner.substack.com, worcestersucks.email, and following at Worcester_sucks for the greatest newsletter of all time, Worcester Sucks, and I love it. Subscribe to us here on Twitch. If you want to be cool like Ben White, do that. Follow us at Woot and Andy Comedy. We got some shows coming up where we got the next hot dog is on January 31st. It's It's going to be a great one. We have a new resident hot dog. We haven't done that in a few years, and that means that one comic will perform on every hot dog show throughout the year, and we'll slowly drive them insane. Every single resident hot dog that has ever been, there were 6 of them. They all quit comedy. All of them are now no longer comedians. So we're going to see if we can keep the streak alive with our friend Logan O'Brien. And we're getting ready to announce a new Sort of Late show coming up in this early spring. So keep it tuned here. Keep it tuned to all of our social media. Follow the Hot Dog Safari for some news coming up. And yeah, thank you guys all for hanging out tonight through, again, another dumbass meeting. And we love you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Have a great week.
Bye, everybody.